Hello, everybody.
Happy
What's up? What's up? What's up?
what's up in there?
What's up? What's up? What's up? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever
Yeah.
you are. I hope that you are having a fantastic day. Hi, Marshall. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Cement Shoes. Hi, Ava. Hi, Mrs. Troy. Hi, Jane
Mrs.
Doe.
Short.
Rexy. Hi,
Jane Doe.
Anna. Hi,
Ellie.
Chicken Lady.
Oh, I love that chicken lady. There she
Hi,
is, Sharon
Allie.
Andrews. How are you?
Allie, if it's easier, I can just send you a link and you can come up and talk on your drive.
Yeah, Allie. We love you. Come on, girl.
Hi, Nicole. Hi, Misty Dawn. Hi, Sharon.
Hi, guys. Hey, Marshy, if you didn't hear me. Hi, my love.
Yeah, Sharon. I know. I had like 20 people like send me the floor plan like after that.
There's a
Um,
million points.
well, I think that somebody ended up like actually making one.
Yeah, I
So
saw
I
a
do. I
couple.
have a few different ones now.
I think conspiracy tea. Am I saying that right?
Conspiracy. Hi, Peppermint
Conspiracy.
Tea.
She did it first, I think, or she tried first to really break it down and did a really good job. And then I saw a couple more. I think one came out on Reddit
She
or
did
something.
what she did was and I have those, so I'll show those too. What she did was she actually took like the pictures from Zillow and added them to the floor plan so you could see what room was what.
Got it.
Hi, Angela. Hi, Dina.
Hey, Dina. Hey, Angela.
There's supposed to be a press conference today, but they did announce that it is a non-critical press conference. So it's going to be in about an hour and 50 minutes, and I will probably still be live to be able to stream it. But it does say it's non-critical. So here, Allie, let me send you a link so you can just come up and drive. You
Yeah,
can
Ellie.
talk to us. You can talk to us on your trip.
Hi, Teresa. How are you? Dina. Sharon, it's been a minute. How are you? Pointer
Hi,
lover.
Angela.
Oh, Pointer lover's driving and listening too.
Pointer
Good.
lover, you need to come up too.
Yeah, Pointer lover, come on up.
Pointer lover, get up here.
Just be safe today driving, guys. You know what today is. It's the busiest damn traveling day of the year. So just be safe out there.
Is it today or is it before Christmas?
No, today. Well, and
Is
before
it? I
Christmas.
don't know. I was just asking.
And then I think tonight's supposedly the big night out too. I don't know if anybody really does it anymore, but for anybody that still does, be safe tonight too, please. Hey Maria.
Oh, you love the intro? You guys have been doing. Oh, thank you. And Christine made the beautiful new intro. Hi, Combat Vet.
Christine did
I'm
amazing.
running my FedEx route and listening. Well, I would tell you to come up, Combat Vet, but you'd probably get in trouble. Hi, Kate Does Crime. Hi, Maria.
Oh, combat. We may know some of the same people. I know a lot of FedEx peoples. Know lots. Hey, Kate does crime.
All over? I mean, like, you just know, like, random FedEx people from across the world? I mean, across the
Yeah,
United States?
yeah. I got some major connects in FedEx. Got to hook up with combat vet price, which is exactly I'm going to the vet right now, paying a whole lot of money right now.
Oh, my
The
goodness.
name fits my life.
Allie!
Ellie.
Hello.
Hi, you better be careful driving.
Yes.
I am. I'm not going to look at the phone. I'm just going to chat with you guys.
Okay, so if
Thank you
anybody
for
has like an Allie specific question,
We'll
then
get it.
I'll be like, Allie, they have an Allie question.
Yeah. I love that pic with you and Benny too. Is he not adorable? I'm like, all my YouTube buddies have little boys. Uh-oh, we lost her.
Hi, forensic astrologer. I'm wondering how she's gonna do with having connection issues on her drive, but she's
Yeah.
welcome to come up whenever she can. Hi, Rexy.
Hey, Anna.
Hi, Angie.
Hey, Deline. Thank you for becoming a member. Hi, Angie.
Little Kazati. Okay, so I told myself I'm gonna have like I have all this good stuff. I do. I feel a lot better. I feel a lot better. I'm still a little congested, but I do feel better. Like I'm actually like functional. Like my daughter and I actually went and did Christmas shopping yesterday, and I know it's like
You're
I'm
brave.
actually I know I'm moving around again, which is a positive. I just still like have like a yuck cough and just some congestion,
You sound
but and I say cough and I have to cough.
You sound much
Alex,
better.
whatever you can. That's all I'll say. Mama Lynn's very random, but while waiting for others to come to the live, I'd love to know. You guys think charges will ever be brought again in the Morphew case, and why or why not? Ooh, that's a hard one. I do not believe that charges will be brought unless they find Suzanne.
Fortunately,
That's my my thought process on that. I do not believe they have enough evidence. So if they find Suzanne, or if they get some other witness that's able to come forward, that's all. That's the only thing that I think. Hi, CDT.
CDT's in the house. Hey, Alondra. Am I saying that right? Alejandra? Lashane.
Alejandra. We're masked people. Well, yeah. Well, we were all COVID negative, so I mean it's just it's like a respiratory infection because it lasts for a really long time, and it's like a head cold and a chest cold together, so it's like the whole thing.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Lavender Blue. What a pretty name. I love that. Natalie. I think Kate Does Crime was here. I didn't say hello.
I thought we did. I said hello. I thought you said hello too.
Did I?
Hi, Usain.
Usain, how are you?
On the case.
That's pretty cool too. It's Christy Camp. Hello.
Roadie gal. That's actually what I was wondering if it was, because, but none of us actually went to a doctor, to actually find out. But I wondered if that's what it was.
Michelle, that's what I was a little concerned about at first with her and one of my other friends, one of my other YouTube friends. A lot of the I can't even get out, RSV situation, especially with the babies and stuff. It's scary. Anything respiratory to me is just very scary anymore with all the other crazy going around.
Right. But it's just lasted so long. I mean,
yeah, that's the scary
part. This is a week and a half. This is about a week and a half for me. But my little was sick the week before, and he still coughs.
Right. Like I think your immune system's way stronger than theirs, and then think about the babies, like your son. Like they're just it's scary. See, a lot of these kids are in the hospital, over this.
Right.
Stuff.
Okay, so I was saying, like, I had all this stuff that I wanted to share with you guys today, and then I didn't get it all saved. But I do have it, so I just have to take a couple minutes to save it so that I can share it with you. But while we do that, this case is just so crazy. And like everything's kind of, well, just this case is kind of all over the place. But then they have all these other cases that are just stuff is happening, and you guys all heard about Quentin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Sleuth Mom.
Hey, Sleuth Mom, how are you? Here it goes.
CDT said we just dealt with strep a little. So I was actually, that was another thing I was thinking. I'm like, maybe it's strep, but I don't know. Nobody seemed to agree with me in the household.
I hope you guys are feeling better. CDT.
Hi, Tammy's Clips.
No joke, neither. I had to get my tonsils taken out for that. A lot of the kids in my family have too over that, because it just strep over time. It weakens heart muscles, they say.
Pointer Liver said they were sick for 5 weeks.
Wow.
Hi, Without Borders.
No.
You're fluffing your Christmas tree? Oh, Christmas tree number 2. Ooh.
I'm so jealous. I want to fluff my Christmas trees. Oh, hey, Coach.
Rexy said they're glad they finally arrested Leilani.
Yeah.
It was like such a traumatic thing. It was so hard for me. I was going to go live, and I was like, I can't go live. I can't even maintain my emotions by myself, much less if everybody else is on there talking about how sad they are. I'm going to lose it. It was so sad. It was such a sad.
And the craziest part is
press conference.
We knew it was coming in a sense, because we
Yeah.
knew what they were looking for, but it's just like when it happened, from all that emotion and all that rage of her being out there and not being arrested and whatnot, we went from this high of anger to like just thinking of little Quentin, and just now he's officially gone, and it's so sad.
I just didn't want them to find him.
Yeah.
I know that sounds like so silly, but I just didn't want him to be there.
It almost brings that child that you feel like you're so invested in, even though there's going to be a trial and all this other stuff, but it almost feels like looking, that whatever for that child, it brings that to a close. So it's almost like your little relationship that you build with this child that you're, I investigating the
really
case.
like that little guy, man. I'm just like, I didn't want him to be gone. I knew he was, but I didn't want him to be.
It sucks. It does. It does. It sucks. Quentin's one of the ones that, we knew what happened. We just was watching the suspect out there just living life, and now it's all come to its end. And hopefully he gets the justice he absolutely deserves. Hey, Kat, how are you?
Okay, this is.
Oh, Cam, we'll get to all the Idaho University
see.
Four very in a minute.
Yeah, Cam. Yeah, I was wondering about that myself. Where did she come up with the money for the Range Rover? From my understanding, and I know that there was a lot of weird commentary, because the media is like all over the place, and so people were saying that she also worked at that Greek restaurant, but the Greek restaurant says that that was Xana and Maddie.
Yeah.
So.
And there was a couple more about.
Allie, I know you're right. I'm glad that they found him, because if they hadn't, then would she have ever been charged? And like, what would have been happening? I know you're right. I don't. The way that he said that in the press conference about like how they found him, and it was so bad. It just made me feel. I don't know. It was like I was like sick.
Little Kazi, you may have to be on your laptop to click over to the membership tab, and then it will allow you. I'll see if I can drop the link.
I have it. I'll drop it real quick. Give me 1 second. Okay, so how many of you guys have been looking at the footage from the food truck, trying to figure out who everybody is there? Or is that just me? Am I the only one that's been
No, you're
weird
not alone.
about that?
Not alone.
So I still cannot figure out who the Jersey guy is, which is really bothering me. Has anybody figured that out?
I can't get nothing on Jersey guy. Hey, Jordan.
I'm also wondering, like, so I don't know, but was she working somewhere else? I don't know. Nobody's talked about her having a job anywhere else outside of that supposed Greek restaurant, but she wasn't working there. Did she have like a savings account from when she was younger? Like, I don't know. They said like she did it all by herself. Oh, here's Britt. Hi, Britt.
Hold on a second. Hello. I'm going to try to get my words out as best I can.
Yeah, she's been losing her voice.
Oh,
Hey, Linda, Sarah.
Hope you feel better.
Hi, Suspicious.
We do that all the time.
Am I late?
Go live when you have to be an adult. Hi, Sean.
Hey, Suspicious. How are you? Trippy Dead. Texas Angel. Gadsy, you take that next one. I can't even pronounce that.
Oh, I wasn't even looking. I'm sorry. Which one?
Hoodie guy is sure good at making himself look suspicious. This is true.
Okay, so there's two different hoodie guys though. Okay, so I actually, hi Trippy Dead. There's two different hoodie guys. Britt, have you guys gone through this over and over again? Like I keep going through the food truck footage, seeing who else was there. And I don't know if we're looking at like, not a diversion, that's not the right word, but we don't have much information on the other side of with where Ethan and Xana were. There's not a lot of people talking. I did find a couple screenshots that I thought were interesting. I want to share with you guys, but we have more information on the Kaylee and Maddie side. So I think it's easier to look at that, and I think it makes us mentally lean towards the fact that we think that that the targets had to be them, because we have more information to look at, right?
I agree. Okay, you said 2 different hoodie guys. Okay, are you talking about the guy that's in the jersey too?
No, so
Okay.
I want to pull it up and I want to look at it with you guys because there's a couple things that are very interesting to me in here. And Pat Wicks, thank you for becoming a member. Little Kaza T, thank you for becoming a member. C-Dub, I know there's a lot of stuff pointing at Jack D right now. It's
I'm looking at Jack D. Not gonna lie, I'm looking at Jack D.
Are you?
Yes, I
It's
am.
only bothering me that they haven't charged him. Or I mean, they haven't charged him. They haven't cleared him. That's the only part that's really bothering me. Other than that, I just don't know.
I'm side-eyeing him so much. I've been down that rabbit hole all morning.
Sane. So this is actually what I'm wondering, and this is what I was hoping that somebody else was actually able to figure out because I don't want to put out misinformation, but this is kind of where I'm at. Is the other hoodie guy another Jack?
What?
Yeah. So that's why I said I want to play it with you guys. I'm side-eyeing Jack S. So you think Jack S because he was there, but I'm wondering about this other Jack. How in the hell are there so many damn Jacks?
So we got 3 Jacks, right?
We have 3 Jacks and a Jake now.
Mm-hmm.
He's sunset gazing. Hey, David.
Yeah, they were at the fraternity party, but we don't have anybody coming forward or any video or anything to really analyze about them being there. Is kind of what I mean. Like we were told they're there, and then there's also a couple weird things about that. I think we need more evidence. I think we have more evidence for them because of her sister. Not sure if we should know that info. That's true, but I think it subconsciously makes us lean towards that. We think that they were they were the target. But because then I also go back and I think if it was Xana and Ethan, then the person never had to go to the 3rd floor. They could have just come into the 2nd floor and left. Why go up to the 3rd floor if it wasn't the girls that were the target?
See, I feel like this sleeping situation that night may not be the exact of what it would normally be. So when there are others saying, well, typically Kaylee sleeps here and this one sleeps there, and that may not have happened that night, and maybe that's why it throws off what doesn't make sense in the order, or why not go here and first go there. So I've racked my brain going through that house and that floor plan, trying to make sense out of that.
Those girls could have been in bed together. How many of you slept in the same bed with your girlfriends?
Right.
I could easily
especially when you're drunk. And you're just hanging out you're just hanging out in the same room, and then you just kind of pass out.
Mhm.
Especially if it was Kaylee's last weekend there.
Right.
Yep.
Which doesn't make any sense to me. How come she didn't have to go to class anymore? The semester's not even over. So I don't know why. I don't understand how she didn't have to go to class. But
Did you hear last night? I haven't seen this, but everybody was talking about it in my chat, that on Banfield they were saying that there was somebody parked out behind the food truck or to the side that were telling the girls to hurry up.
yeah. So okay. So let's just look at it, because there's so much in this that I have figured, or I have found suspicious. No class on Sunday, no, but that her parents said that Kaylee was supposed to be going back home on Tuesday, but the semester is not over. So she's supposed to be graduating in the fall semester. Why would she not have to go to class up until? I'm just trying to figure out how she wasn't going. That was her last weekend to go. It doesn't make sense to me. Why didn't she have class to finish graduating? I heard graduation for fall semester is December 8th, right? So why would she go home Tuesday?
That reason there is why now I'm looking more at Kaylee potentially being the target, because she was leaving. And this would have been their opportunity, if she was the target, for them to do what they needed to do, or him or whoever it was who committed the act.
I feel very strong about that, actually. I do. I feel like it was definitely her targeted, and knowing that this was probably her last there.
So then do you lean towards Jack D then too, Michelle?
I do. but there's a few others I want to sort out first, and I want to go through some family members to see military background
Yes, I'm with you. I'm not completely on
all
like
the way. But yeah,
100% about Jack. I'm looking at other people too, but lately I'm side-eyeing Jack.
yeah. I didn't initially want to, but he just brings me there. He brings me there. But I still believe that there could be some other crazies from her past that she rejected. I'm more definitely going down that route for sure. She's a beautiful, beautiful girl, beautiful, beautiful future ahead of her. She had a lot of friends. If you see how she kind of communicates with certain types of guys when they come on to her, she lets them down in a way. She shuts them down. Basically, she doesn't. You could tell the boys that had flirted with her and she was interested in, she played back into, and the ones that she did not, she absolutely didn't. She played them right off. So I keep going down there.
Think about what her mama said about how, they were, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, her mom almost sounded as if she was trying to convince herself that Jack and Kaylee were going to get back together because that's what she wanted.
Yeah.
But if you heard her, she said, Kaylee was just being a brat. Kaylee was doing what she always done, which sounds to me like, they would be together for a while and she'd decide that she probably wanted to see other people and have a chance to party and do her own thing.
Well, yeah, I mean,
But
it's like my kids and their significant others, I love their significant others for for the most part. But my daughter's going off to college, and I know that, and I want her to experience different things and different people and things like that. So I tell her, she knows, yes, you're in a relationship, but you guys are going to go your separate ways. You're going to be doing different things in life, and
mhm.
it's hard. It's so hard at this age. And I mean, and again, I think sometimes why the serial killer, why we can't label certain things is because we just cannot. Drugs play such a hard play in today's society that the things that don't make sense, it's because they just don't. People are, kids especially, they're either being sold it, they're taking it, these mixtures of medications, drugs, whatever, and they just, I mean, not even just children, adults are doing crazy, outlandish, horrific, horrendous things. And it's not explained. You know what I mean? It's sometimes I feel like that plays a big part of why things are not explained, like or the unexplainable. These kids were at parties, they were drinking, doing God knows what, maybe somebody really lost it, and maybe it's not exactly what we think,
Well, if I had to say what my gut says, I do not think it's Jack D. My only issue is that he should have been pretty easily cleared, but he's not been.
Why not? Why not?
And why not? Other than that, I don't know. I don't have.
That's the only thing that keeps me with Jack, really, is the fact that he's not cleared, and just the fact that they had a relationship.
Well, yeah, the dichotomy there, though, because for me, it's like, okay, so I'm just gonna say it. And I don't mean anything bad at all. People can throw a shoe at me, but when I saw him, that wasn't who I would expect that she would be with.
No.
He's I don't know. It's just kind of out of her league, if I'm honest. So to think about that, and then it sounded like maybe she played with him a little bit by, ending the relationship all the time. And he could be angry by that. And then she was moving to Texas. He knew that would probably be the end of it all right there.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
he
That's
doesn't
just why.
he doesn't keep to have his eyes on her. He doesn't, if she's in a whole nother state, yeah, I could definitely see that. I keep trying to look at his actual demeanor, but I always go back to, I can't help it, drinking and drugs. And you put that will change a person. That will change a good kid, who would never do something in this world, to doing something really crazy and horrific, and it's by no means an excuse or anything, but it happens. It definitely happens.
Yeah, he was NorCal Jim. It's so true. But I also noticed looking at some of the other roommates and their significant others, I'm actually quite surprised. They're not the girls are more in the 8 to 10 range, and the guys are more in the 4 to 6 range.
I agree, Steve. I absolutely agree. I can't help but to not think that dog situation. Yeah. Mm-mm.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm afraid.
Jack D's obviously mad at her. He's not answering the phone. He's not returning her calls, and she believes he believes that, or she believes that he may answer the phone for Maddie. So she knows that he's mad at her, and then her dad makes the comment, like, we share, that she was trying to call him when she was home, and she's like, we share a dog together. Like, you have to talk to me. And so he wasn't answering the phone for her when she was home, and he wasn't answering the phone for her that night, and she thought that Maddie would talk to, or that he would talk to Maddie. Okay, hold on, Allie's back. Hi, Allie.
Can you guys hear me now?
Hey, Allie. I hear you.
Hey, Britt. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Just exhausted from moving. I hate moving. It's so annoying.
It is. Moving is one of the most stressful things in this world to do. It is not fun. Not fun.
Yeah.
Michelle, can I have your hair? You are so pretty.
Isn't she beautiful? My God, you are.
It needs a chop. It's due. It's due. It starts getting heavy on me.
I just cut like 10 inches off of mine.
Doesn't it feel? It feels good. You're just like, oh.
Yes, like washing it and putting it in a ponytail. I'm like, holy cow.
That's what I do every night. I throw it up, and it's what it is. And then the next day I just brush it. And if I have to add some curls, I'll add some curls. Call it a day.
Yeah, so I heard you guys talking about Jack D, and I'm really interested in Jack S.
Mm-hmm. Him too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's, he doesn't live far, and he allegedly was kicked out of a fraternity and has like some anger issues and stuff. So I thought that was kind of interesting. What do you guys think about him?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's the weird part is they actually cleared him, but they didn't clear Jack D. So I'm gonna pull up the website. Have you guys looked, because they made this new website to like literally make everything like super easy to like see. Have you guys looked at that yet?
No.
Okay, hold
I
on.
don't know. Let's see.
So they cleared him, because it was a little confusing about if they cleared him or the other guy, and then they came back and said yes, hoodie guy. But you know what? I saw on I think it was Banfield too, because y'all were talking about her, but they had social media sleuths, bigger podcasts and stuff, giving their opinions, and they were like, we're not ready to say that he's, there's a lot of people still very interested in him, and they're not quite ready to say that he was not involved. So I think that's really interesting. I don't know.
And I just want to clarify, guys, we were not saying by no means that the girls are shallow. We were just saying, I was just saying that the community.
No, I'm more shallow. I'm more shallow than they are.
Obviously,
That's all I'm saying, is that they obviously had, they didn't care. It's just from an outsider looking in, it was kind of interesting that they all were like that.
Yeah. Wait, and I think there's another one from another local.
No, I don't think the girls were shallow. Obviously not.
Not at all.
What was it, you guys? I missed that totally. I guess that was when I was coming in.
Because I was saying that it's interesting that all the girls there are like between like an 8 and a 10, but all their boyfriends are between like a 4 and a 6.
Oh. That's
yeah.
I thought how they were letting the boys down, like how I was saying how, like the one she's interested in, you got to see, and the one she was not, she just kind of like, which I would do.
Yeah. Man, those girls were all beautiful. Holy moly.
Right?
Gorgeous girls. Gorgeous.
I know Ethan actually, I would say, was probably the better looking guy.
Yeah, Ethan was
he's besides his, trying to grow the weird mustache thing, but that's like apparently a cool thing, because a lot of them were doing that at the time. But he's actually very handsome.
Mm-hmm.
It's the other girls or the other guys that I'm kind of like, wow, like I don't know. They could.
I agree. Kids are weird though. They like weird stuff. I've learned since Trenton's almost 14, and all the kids in his grade have this long hair that's, I don't know, I'm not a fan of it, and he loves it. And
Yep.
Oh, come on. Y'all know y'all thought it too. Don't even admit it, but you know you thought it.
Right, Brett.
Everybody, General Star says, "Well, I'm
General
it too." You think Maddie's boyfriend is cute? Actually, I don't even. This is like so not even the topic of conversation. People are gonna be like, "Why are you even saying all this?" I'm gonna get so many nasty comments. But there was some pictures that he was kind of cute, and the other ones I was like, eh. And I think he's kind of balding already. So people are gonna get really mad. And like I said, I do not think the girls were shallow. If anything, I'm the shallow one, so the comments can just say that Teresa's super shallow. But
don't leave.
you know, it kind of is what it is. And then some Hussein says it's Idaho.
It's
Don't
Idaho.
come to my Teresa.
Yeah, don't leave a bunch of mean comments. I'll get you with my wrench. So
Not
But I'm
being
just
that
saying, it was
far.
just
We're already
interesting
now.
to me that they all were kind of like that.
Yeah. There was a local who just said it too. You know, they said all Idaho girls are beautiful. The guys, not so much.
Right. And Kate described, yeah. So, oh goodness, dog. The neighbor's doing yard work, and Ursa just really hates it. She does not want him doing any yard work, so she's freaking out every time he does anything back there. But
Okay, I love
they were
her.
together. They were together for like 6 years or something crazy. So yeah, and their families are really close, and I think that's why the mom really thinks that they're going to get back together.
Exactly
But
why.
Kaylee knew she was, you know, she wanted to maintain like a friendship, in my opinion, like because they've known each other their whole lives and they had a dog together. Well, what was going to happen to the dog when she moved to Texas? Who was going to keep it?
I would like to think she was bringing her puppy, but I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I would think she was going to take it. Her.
So then, I mean, did they really share a dog then? You know what I'm saying?
You know how it goes in relationships. And I mean, thankfully it wasn't a child. So maybe they were just testing the waters with a puppy. So let's, you know, that was kind of a
Yeah.
good thing. It's a good thing.
So Alley Cat tells us, how do we know Hoodie Guy's name? Okay, so I kind of, as I started digging through, I found this guy that I thought it was potentially him, and also it ended up coming up on some other websites before Reddit, and then those other websites were shared to Reddit. So I wasn't 100% sure, but then apparently while we were live last week, he went and talked to Gray Hughes and said, yeah, that is him. Christine. Hi, beautiful.
Hi, guys.
Hey, baby doll.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
hey, Christine.
Okay, so
Hey, Alex. I heard you talking about some off-topic BS, Teresa.
I know.
So I came in
I know. That's
to
why I was
talk
like,
about
oh
how
man,
much money these called.
the comments
It's
after are
money
going
you
to
guys
come for
have.
me about how shallow I am.
It's my fault, Christine. I brought it up. Sorry.
That's all
Okay,
right. I
so
just
here,
want to talk about
let
how
me
much
show you
hair.
guys this first before we go on. So this is they've created like a part of their website that just basically says like this is what they're, you know, it's almost like their updates, but they have it in one local spot, so it has the entire thing all together in one, and it's got like the summary of everything that happened, and the autopsies. Yeah, so they put it all into this nice like format, so we can just look at, are there any suspects? At this time, there's no suspects, no arrest, no weapon has been found. Is the public in danger? Anytime there's a crime against a person, there's a potential danger to the public. Who made the 911 call? On the morning of November 13th, the surviving roommates summoned friends to the residence because they believed one of the second floor victims had passed out and was not waking up. At 11:58, a 911 call requested aid for an unconscious person. The call originated from inside the residence. On one of the surviving roommates' cell phones, multiple people spoke with the 911 dispatcher before Moscow police department officer arrived at the location. Our detectives still looking for surveillance. They go over the boundaries that they're looking for, that little square places they're looking for. Then they have this little tab here, who is not believed to be involved. The two surviving roommates, the male in the grub truck surveillance video, the private party driver who took Kaylee and Madison home on November 13th, or any of the individuals that were at the residence when 911 was called. Jack D's not on there. Unless he happens to be one of the people that was at the residence when 911 was called. But then that doesn't make sense why they didn't just let him have the dog, unless the dog had to be processed. But they they found Murphy in the house. They took, and then Animal Services took Murphy to the animal shelter, and then he was released to Jack.
I can't believe they've got all this information like that. It's just, I love this. That's really awesome. I've never seen that, like with the suspects and everything.
Right. Well, I mean, they don't have suspects, but they have the people they cleared.
Right. Yeah. And like a tab for suspects and that kind of thing. It's just so cool.
Yeah, this
About
is
an hour ago. Oh, I'm sorry, Tay.
No, you're good.
About an hour ago, they posted an article that they're looking into. 1 second. They're now looking into 3 sex offenders who, I guess, one lived directly across the street, and they just gave their names.
Okay, is that on here or just a separate thing? You want to send it to me? I can share it.
Yeah.
So they like here. What other rumors are there? What happened to the dog? The reports of the skinned dogs, are they related to the murders? Have detectives run out of leads? Here, I'll send this to you guys too.
Yes. Thank you. I wonder if they found, and actually, I will be honest, Wolfie is the one who gave me this idea, but the way that they're looking for a specific style of knife, it's not actually, Wolfie said it's not the brand K-Bar or K-Bar. It could be several brands, but it's like a knife that doesn't fold, like, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
a fixed.
It's
Yeah, fixed blade. That's what they said. Well, I wonder if they found a sheath or something like that, because how would they know? Would it, or maybe the depth of the wounds because of how deep they are? But you would think, how would they know it wasn't a knife that does fold, or you know what I mean? I
probably
don't know.
because of the stab wounds themselves aren't angled. Like they don't have an angle to them, like a blade that bends. I know this is the kind of, but a blade that bends as you stab, it will bend inside the body. It'll hit something, it could bend, it'll bend around things. A fixed blade won't, it'll go straight. So like when it would hit a bone, it would stay and hit the bone, versus a bendable, like a foldable knife, it would go in, hit a bone, and it would bend.
Right. So you think from their wounds, which would be the only other way if they haven't found a
That
sheath.
is what I believe. Yes, I believe it's from the wounds.
Interesting.
I'll put
Teresa, can you send this to? Are you sending it to us also? What is this, a website or?
Yeah, it's their website.
That's awesome. You send it to Delphi too while you're at it.
Wait a minute. Just told me that some folded knives will lock, and so I don't know. I
still think it's from the wounds.
I think it is too. Plus the depths would be more.
Debbie, Jay, give me 1 second. I'm gonna put it in the chat for you guys.
Yeah, he said that the guard that guards your fingers on a fixed blade knife could also leave like some kind of marks in their, in their wounds if they went deep. So, oh my gosh, it's horrific.
Okay, so then we put that link in there, and then let me go over to this article that Michelle just sent. So Christine, since you weren't here for the Jack D conversation, do you think that, what do you think about Jack D?
I don't know. I don't think he's involved now. I'm trying to go in a different way with it. So in that grub check video though, so they're like in front of like glass or like mirrored buildings or something is behind them. There's like,
yes, you see the tail lights?
Yes. Is it so? It looks like a Mustang or something to me. Like those taillights are pretty.
It is. It's a Mustang, but they said that that's the person who gave them a ride home, and they have cleared that person.
It just seems so fast that they cleared all these people. Like it took the Delphi investigators 6 years to clear nobody. So I don't know how they just cleared all these people so fast.
Yeah, they're clearing people left and right, except for Jack D.
Right.
Okay.
And
hold
yes,
on.
yes, Trista, that's exactly what I just sent to.
Okay, so I'm going to pull this up so we can look at it.
If you find anything on that, Trista, please send it to me.
Punksy, thank you.
Oh, Punksy,
I
Punksy.
wonder if the killer is wounded or was wounded. What do you guys think?
I don't know why everybody's assuming that the killer is a man.
Because of Ethan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ethan. But still, if he was asleep, I think a woman could do it.
Okay, let me share this one.
Yeah, Kate, I agree too.
Yeah, I think it's a man.
Yeah, me too. It's a lot of strength, a lot of power, a lot of confidence to go in there and know that they could, at minimum, subdue 2 people from one weapon, in a sense, unless a homeboy came in with bats and sticks and his crazy ass knife.
So Kate Does Crime says, I think it's someone connected from Xana and Maddie's job. Did you also hear that one of the Jacks worked at the same restaurant? Did you guys hear that? I have not seen proof of that, but I did hear that rumor. Hi, Cat Lady.
That's funny because the psychic Reverend Donna, the one that did the Idaho case, she read this case and she mentions their job as well.
Really?
You guys got to listen to that if you haven't heard it yet. I mean, I know it's just a psychic, but it's still very interesting with her track record,
Oh yeah. Hey, Jeanette.
Yeah, not too many women have Kabar knives. That's true. Not that they couldn't get one, but I guess
This is true. They have a dad or someone in the military. They could get their hands on one.
Tony Smith, you're absolutely right. We haven't had a crime like this in a very long time. We had was it the Oregon couple? Was that in Oregon that got stabbed? Somebody will tell me if I'm right or wrong.
The couple, I go back to thinking of what's her name, Ursula Gale, the one who was stabbed like about 47 times by the handyman boyfriend and put in the hockey bag, right? Drug down the street.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Remember
what was that one? I know was that like the gardener?
Yeah, well, he was the handyman boyfriend.
The handyman, that's who he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Hi, Commander Ender Turkey. Okay, so this is your article. I have not read this one yet. So this just says that the University of Idaho killings focus on 3 sex offenders who lived terrifyingly close to the slain student's house. Somebody did mention on the last live about an offender living straight across the way, but I don't think they didn't name the person. So here's these: Nathan Warren Lacey, Kanan Tyler Zakow, and Stephen Cole Hoffman. They all live within walking distance.
And if they're in walking distance, that means they're in spying distance as well.
Well, you also have to look and see what they're on the registry for. I know that people get all upset with me when I say this, but there's different reasons that they're on there, and then also even the bad ones typically have a victimology. Would this even match what they would want?
Same, Valerie, same. Us little girls got to stay safe too.
Let's see. Shaking the Nation. I'm just trying to find info on what they're actually doing. The list of these 3 living directly across the street from 1122 King Road, who got arrested for sexual exploitation of a minor. Okay, so Nathan got arrested for sexual exploitation of a minor on July 31st, 2017. Kanan lives behind King Road House on Christine on Walenta Drive. And so Christine and I were looking at this last night, and I had so I got that's a whole nother theory I've got. So I got to hold on. And was charged with communicating with a minor for. I got a few. I'm like kind of playing all over, with a minor for immoral purposes on April 21st, 2017. The third on the list is Stephen Cole Hoffman, 30, was charged with obscene conduct with a child for immoral purposes in 2017. Wow. And lives about 3 blocks away on Blake Avenue. As the cops continue to dig up more details, a private investigator came forward and told the outlet the cops are most likely to focus their attention on all registered perverts within the vicinity. I know, it's kind of an inch. I'm like, okay, because we're just going there. The vicinity to make sure they have not fled the area. They will look at any registered offender nearby, and they are going to look at all the neighbors, family members, exes, you name it, because they don't have a solid lead on anybody yet. They're going to check for an alibi to see if they are still in the area or if they haven't skipped town and whatnot. Okay. Well, yeah. So, I mean, it's just kind of checking it off the list, but
I wonder if any of them know.
If they knew him?
If they knew him, yeah. I guess my audio is awful. I'm going to jump down in chat because I don't want to come up here with bad audio. But yeah, be curious if
I
they
can hear
know.
you.
And I'll talk to you guys down there.
I can hear you.
Oh, you can? Is it like echoing or anything?
No?
Okay, well then good. I thought it was echoing. I could hear myself a little bit back. But yeah. Okay, well then I'll just mute and I'm gonna stay till I get bad service, I guess.
I mean, if you want to go back to chat, you're totally fine. Whatever you want to do. I mean, I don't want to force you to stay over, but I just wanted you to know that you sound totally fine.
Yeah, and no, I love chatting with you guys, and it's making my drive a lot better.
That's what I was figuring when you were like, I got to drive. I'm like, get up here. Make the time fly.
So, make sure you're safe.
So. Okay, let me see. If it was an act of passion, then that means it was someone who carries the kabar on them, normally someone who would recognize that to identify in a tip or planned attack, unless it's a weapon was in the house. I do. I think that the person typically had it, and I think people know that the person had it, but I think they probably know a few that have one, so it's not a big deal because it's Idaho.
They did say that it's normal to have those knives, that and skinning, not dogs, but coyotes and things like that. Hunting them is normal there.
So Brian, they clarified that. Okay,
sorry, my theory is not like rounded out enough yet for me to feel comfortable talking about it, but
she don't have her slough in there yet.
All right, I gotta grab a drink. You guys talk.
It's okay. I have a couple, but I have a hard time getting them out because they don't all the way make actual sense yet.
I know, yeah. Like I don't want to have to
I don't have to see myself yet, okay?
Prove it, because I can't yet. I'm still working on it, guys. I'm still working on it.
You did go with the with that other house on the street that I can't say. Hey, Phoebe. Valerie's so funny. Val, you filed this case pretty close too, right? I've seen you. I think you were up on a couple of Brittany's lives, right? And hello, guys. Everybody coming in. Sorry.
What if the fact that the two were left alone what if that was part of the reason they say it was a targeted attack? What if them being left safe lends them to their targeted attack verbiage,
I know I know quite a few that are on that right now too.
Maybe it wasn't an accident that they left those ones alone, and not saying that they're involved, but maybe the killer did know them and they liked them or something,
right.
Right. They didn't have any reason to not like those ones or something.
Exactly. And that's why they were left alone. This is very true. I was thinking that too.
Yep. Yeah, because targeted doesn't have to mean that,
it's going to be hard to narrow down the layout of that house and how it was done because we just don't know how, how
they'll be able to.
4 college students' nights ended up, Well,
I believe though that where they were looking at that sliding glass door.
You're all that
If
out.
you
It's
look,
enough.
when you walk in that sliding glass door, it's like right. Ethan and Xana's bedroom is almost right there after you get out of the kitchen. So that makes sense if he came through there, but the others I don't know, because they would be so close to that door.
Okay, so hold on real quick because I want to talk about the bedrooms, but I want to answer a couple things in chat really quick. So somebody asked if Kaylee had already moved out. So I have an issue with this, that Kaylee had already moved out because her stuff is still in her room. So if she was she going to pack everything right then and go home Tuesday, or was she planning on coming back and forth? So I don't know how she had already moved out when all of her stuff is still there, including her dog. And does she take the dog back and forth with her? Maybe.
Oh, sorry. You reminded me of something just real quick about how her mom said when she said that she wanted to go back to show Maddie her car, and she was like her friend and others. I thought that was, I kind of took note of like that, like what others?
The other roommates, the other people, the sorority sisters. I don't know. And then Brian asked about the dog. So they said the dog was actually found in the house. The dog was found in the home. That's on that website that I linked. It says the dog was found in the home, and then Animal Services was called. I know I'm like way behind, but there was a couple of things I wanted to. Rainbow Mom, I think that covers probably the details of the dog. I'm just curious where the dog was. We don't know where the dog was. There is some rumors that the neighbors heard the dog barking enough where they thought about going over there. Saying, don't make me feel like a bad person. Saying's like, first Teresa's calling people, or Teresa's being shallow. Now she's forcing people to stay on the phone and drive. No, I'm not. I promise. Okay, Crime has one theory that could go a few ways.
I want it here. I don't. She's not forcing me. No.
No, he's just giving me a hard time.
I know, and also I think that you're just being honest. I love it because even about them being about if whatever you said, like a 4 to 5 or whatever, you're just trying to be honest and real, which is really cool. And like more YouTubers should try to be, you know what I mean, more real like that. So.
Oh, we need it. I live for Teresa's just blunt honesty, and it's in very short words. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it is in very short words.
It's beautiful. Love for it.
Let's see. Okay, I'm just trying to go through the chat real quick, and then I do want to talk about the rooms, because I have a couple issues with this whole bedroom thing. And now that we have some, we have an actual version and not a wish version. I think we're better off. I think he came from Xana and Maddie work, hence why he would target both of them, and Kaylee being up there. That's a very good possibility. If he was pissed off at Xana and Maddie because of something at work, and then Kaylee and Ethan are the collateral. That's very interesting. So a lot of people are thinking that somebody was following them on social media that they didn't know because they were very public. They had very public social media accounts, but to me, they didn't post enough. But
yeah, but
crime of opportunity.
Kids do that though. Like what they'll do is they'll post photos, and let's say it didn't get enough likes that they wanted, or it didn't match their aesthetic. 3 days later, they'll archive it. Then they'll bring it back again. So one day they could have only 4 photos. The next day they could have 25. So right now, when we're looking at their social medias, it may not look like they had posted much. But if you go back, well, it's going to be hard for us to do that. But when they go back to see their history, they'll be able to see all their real postings, and not just, what they want us to see. They'll be able to see all the archive stuff, all the things that they were either tagged in, untagged, whatever along the way. Their social medias for being college students.
Yeah, kids handle their social media totally differently,
Oh,
for sure. Like Lexi does the exact same thing. First of all, only old people like us are on Facebook. They don't even use Facebook.
That's not true. These guys are on Facebook too.
They probably only use it for Messenger. And also, if you have any albums in your Facebook profile, you are over 30 years old. I bet.
Yep.
If you have any albums dedicated in Facebook, you're definitely over 30. You're keeping it for archive purposes, and I get it.
Yep, I get it for archive purposes. Right. That's why I keep my albums.
I have a few albums. Whatever. I am
I
over
have
50.
albums. I got a shit ton of albums.
I've got them too.
She said to keep our pride in our albums. Facebook albums.
Yeah, I mean, I won't ever get rid of Facebook because literally that's like my archive of like events.
Right.
But
Exactly.
my daughter will delete her whole freaking Instagram just, on a whim. And I'm just like, where did all those pictures go?
And she's like, they're done. I don't care. They're just fine. We don't have to keep them anymore.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
Brian, that is a
exactly.
great point. He said if the dog was in the home, that could explain why the crime scene became unmanageable. Why it was such a mess.
Yes, very true.
It's very true. That's very possible.
Puppy prints of blood and things like that, especially, being by.
Yeah, but if the dog was in the house, the other roommates would have he would have had to go potty. He would have like woke them up with barking or something, or they would have seen like, bloody dog prints everywhere or something. They didn't. So the fact that they called the police and they say that somebody's only unconscious, maybe there was a start and an end and it started cleaner than it ended or something, because how would they not be faced with a ton of blood to make them that this person has a problem, they just thought they were passed out, so maybe they were laying on a wound or something, or it wasn't noticeable.
I wonder if they were laying on their wound. I thought about that, or because of the rumors of him being on the floor. I know it's just a rumor, but what if maybe he was blocking the door or something like that, and they couldn't get in and fully see? I don't know.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm saving some more pictures so I can share. I want to talk about the rooms. Okay, so and Allie, I saw that you did a video on the potential blood coming from room number 4.
Yes.
So you do believe it's blood?
I do, because it comes from above the pipe. It actually comes, because you can see in my video, what you can see, there's actually blood coming on the pipe, and then it drips back onto the house. So, and then if you look in their bedroom, there is quite a large floor gap between the wall and the floor. If you look, it's, especially over to the right side, which I think it would be the left, but I think there's a big floor gap. So, and then
is that in the Zillow pictures?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Let me.
You just have to zoom, and it's more to the right where you can see it. But if you look, you can totally see. Now, I heard that they had the vents in the floor, but I didn't see that in the Zillow pictures. It would. He said if it was the floor vent, that Mike Bentley's dad said if it was the floor vent, that it probably wouldn't go outside anyways. It would go into the HVAC, the air duct.
Okay, so it wouldn't have actually come out of the wall. It would have gone through. It would have been in the vent system.
Right. Yep.
Exactly. I was going against my father too, because my father was leaning more towards the rust because of where it was coming from, and I'm like that looks like blood to me. I just couldn't agree with him. But I showed him in every other angle I could, took the story out of play and everything, and he still insisted that.
Well, because it looks thick. It looks like it's a viscous or whatever the word is, liquid. It's not watery, or it's not, rust is by water dripping down, Yeah. It doesn't look like, it looks like somebody either went over there and painted some blood, or it's blood.
Yeah, it's oh my God, that picture will forever be embedded.
If you look at there's a photo that has it circled on the pipe. It's actually has dripped onto the pipe in one spot, and if you zoom in, you can actually even see it in the ones that the media shared at first. You go and zoom in, and there's a drip of it onto the pipe, so it's coming from right under the wall.
I think that I think that's a good point. I think that law enforcement has said so much information that they would have said if it wasn't. They would have just dispelled that. I agree with Miss.
But wouldn't they have already said that it was as well? And my issue with it being blood is why is there no evidence markers around it?
Yes. Yes, T. Yes. Boom.
Oh, that's a good point.
Boom.
But
T.
I thought I did see them over there taking pictures of that area.
There's no markers.
But that
The
picture,
markers would still be there, no?
so the picture that I've seen was taken like the first day. I don't know that I've seen an updated picture like with or without markers. I saw that very first picture.
Maybe
I
we
don't think
should
they had.
ask the police department. I bet you if,
Yeah,
if
tweet
we
them.
tweet 'em, yeah.
Send them a tweet.
Just send them another
Yeah,
message.
we should probably like that's a pretty big rumor to clear up, whether it is or is not. And they like to clear up
I don't know if
rumors,
I
so
have seen. I think that picture was only from the first day that I seen, and then I did see subsequent pictures of them taking pictures of that area, but then I've not seen it after.
And
I
if
saw
it's
it
coming
on a
from that
couple.
room. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're fine, honey. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that if that specific room would be where 2 victims would be, so there would be a lot of blood. And I know the officers, like one of the first days, there an officer did an interview where he said there was so much blood, like it was the worst crime scene he'd ever been to.
Yeah, I think people underestimate like how much blood like you can lose, like you can stand to lose, and
Oh yeah.
that we
Ed
like have
Wallace.
actually, like
Ed
it's a
Wallace was
lot.
explaining all that on Duty Ron, I think last night, I believe. And it's horrendous. And what is the name? I'm sorry, I just missed your comment. They said that once the picture's up, they can explain this. The break says I can clear it up once you show the picture.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
So in Allie's video, right here for this drip, there's something right here on the pipe. I have this in a couple angles too, I believe.
Hey, I sent it to you in Messenger, the one with it circled, like a zoomed in version, another version of it.
Okay, I'll pull that up too. Rainbow Mom, I do have a Discord. I haven't used it yet. I set it all up and then I haven't done anything with it. I'm hoping that after I'm done with school that I can play around with a whole bunch of other things. I finally just got myself like really kind of moving on Twitter. Like, I'm like, I got to kind of ration it out. There's a lot of new technology for me, this old lady over here.
Whatever.
Okay, so this blood right here. If this is blood, whatever this liquid is below the bedroom, and I can show you exactly where it is. So it's below bedroom number 4. My issue is I don't understand why, if Kaylee and Maddie were the target, why they would have gone to bedroom number 4. Why the killer would have gone to bedroom number 4. It doesn't make sense to me. It's out of the beaten path. So I originally thought that Xana and Ethan were in bedroom number 3. But hold on, I don't want to get too far ahead because I have so many things I want to show you guys. Oh, let me save this picture.
I should tweet video to the cops and be like, is this blood or not? Because there's a lot of rumors, and can you please clear this up? And maybe they
Even
will.
just this picture that you just sent me.
Yeah, that's a really good picture of it too. Because they circle that spot because you can see it there, but if you don't know what you're looking for, it's really hard.
And how you guys coming in? I'm sorry if I've missed you guys and saying hello. Hi everybody. I'm trying to play on 3 different screens, so all right, so this is the one that Allie just sent me. Come on. Come on. It is the only area that has this, yeah. That we can see, because we can't see that one side of the house. Actually, that's not true, because on the one video, the officers that are trying to check different, like, exit, look at what it looks like exit ways, they, you can see the other side of the house, because they're over there.
Maybe it's nail polish.
I just think that there would be some type of evidence marker around it.
Okay. I think
Well-
that picture was taken the first day.
I do too, and maybe there was after. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wonder when that drone footage was taken.
Which would explain why it looks so much darker in the other pictures. Like,
Yeah.
or no, because it's still the same picture, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hmm. I just don't know why there's not any evidence markers if it is blood. Like nobody is testing it. I don't know. That just doesn't make sense to me.
I just think that's the first day. Like they hadn't like.
No, because it's also
processed
on the drone
everything.
footage, which is just from like 3 days ago.
Oh, with no
And
markers.
it's on the footage of
okay.
the guys when they're walking that different path, trying to see if they're gonna leave, like how somebody could leave. There's 2 cops that are like walking around in the back area, and they're walking up that back hill from the patio.
But wait,
It's there
But
then too.
are the investigators in this spot taking? You know those? Do you know what pictures I'm talking about? Where they're outside the house, like taking pictures of the windows and stuff. I thought that there was one
I
of the
have all those saved,
investigators
too.
right here,
would
like
they?
in the same.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were done. I was just gonna say, would they leave the evidence markers? And because when I went to like where Devin and Lyric to their crime scene, everything was gone. There was nothing left, but it was cleaned up. I don't know. So would they?
No,
leave
I don't
them
mean that they would
or-
that they necessarily would leave them like forever. What they would do is you would see them in different angles,
Pictures.
like while they're testing all the evidence, like while they've been there. Like we saw all the evidence markers on the ground. We saw the evidence markers that they put on the back
Right.
windows. We saw them, you know what I'm saying? Like we would see something.
I don't know. I think I'll ask him to find out. I still do think I do believe that it's blood. I think the media is who said that though. I don't know because I'm trying to think back to when the first reports came out because they were reporting on it coming from the house, blood. But I think it was like the media saying that. I'm not sure that.
I saw it too. Somebody said something about those gruesome photos or something. Maybe I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was Ashley Banfield or something. But they did say something about like what you mean right now.
Yes.
I think that like some things like we should really take with a grain of salt and debunk and stuff. But some things just don't need a lot of debunking. Like this pretty obviously seems like something that would be sensitive that like maybe the police don't want to draw more attention to it out of like respect for the families. Here's the kid's blood dripping on the wall, but I don't know.
I think they could address it with a little bit more tact, probably, of just saying like the liquid is whatever. I don't think they have to be like all gruesome about it like we are.
I don't think we're the ones to write that memo. Especially
I'm not writing that memo.
Not me and T.
Okay, how about this one? So this one shows you where it is in comparison to the rest of the house.
Her Range Rover is in the pictures of the house. It's not a brand new one, but it is really nice. It's white.
So you can see that here's your front door, right? Over on this side. Like here's technically, I want to make it very clear. The sliding door is actually going to be considered their front door. That's actually considered their front door because this is the door that faces King Street. The address is 1122 King Street. So the little white door that goes out towards Queen Street is not technically their front door. It would be the sliding door.
And that one's like right off the living room, and the other one is on the bottom floor, right?
The little white one goes into where there's the bathroom, the laundry room, and the 2 bedrooms. and the sliding door right here goes straight into the kitchen. And so if you see where this red arrow is, that's the wall that that material is on.
Well, how about that ladder that's just all over the place? Like, where did that come
That
from?
ladder's just weird. It's kind of
Like-
chilling there, but
I mean, okay.
yeah, they can't pick it up and they can't take it. You're right, but what they would do is they'd have to mark it though. They'd have to mark it with something to show the length of it, the depth of it, it has to have other things. It can't just be like a swab and walk away. They have to have other stuff that goes with it. And that normally is numbered with a little sticker on surfaces like that. Or they have to hold up a little, evidence number. So anyway, so that's where that liquid is. So that's what I'm saying. So when they're walking around back here, you could see it.
Maybe we haven't seen them, and they or some, you know what I mean, and they're gonna come out when they go to trial or whatever, when all the evidence comes out.
Maybe. Okay, so here's the ones. I don't know if I saved these yet. Let me save these real quick so I can share them with you guys.
Hey, Teresa, have you ever I mean, we have a lot of people in here right now and stuff, and they're not all in our Facebook group, which you all should be. Come join us on Facebook. But have you ever explained your why you know so much about some certain criminology things? Does everybody know that?
I don't know if everybody knows. I think so. I think most know that that I went back to school, and that's my major is criminology with a minor in forensic studies. And I had
and she did it so fast, and we're all so proud of her.
I'm not done yet. I'm almost done, but I'm not done yet.
Almost done. In 3 years you did, right? Or
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's meant to do this.
Freaking
kind of crazy.
Are you gonna try to get are you gonna just keep doing YouTube and do your channel, or are you gonna try to do something else with it?
So I applied for a graduate certification program in forensic genetic genealogy, which is actually something that I think that this case may end up using. But the program itself is very small, which I didn't know when I applied for it. This is only the third year they've had it. The first year they had 15 people. The second year they had 50, and now this year they're allowing 100. So I just got notified last week that I'm on a wait list. And basically they've offered the 100 spots to people, but not everybody has confirmed that they're going to take the spot. They're not everybody's saying yeah, we actually want to do it still. So they're waiting for that. And then by, I think it's the first week of December, they're supposed to let the ones of us that are on the wait list know. They prefer people that are active, law enforcement or active forensics, because they can add this to their job versus going to get a job in it. But I'm lucky that I live in an area that our district attorney's office actually has an entire department focused on forensic genetic genealogy. So there is a place that you could go get a job. A lot of places don't have that. You guys are probably familiar with it. It's how the Golden State Killer case was solved.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot more often. This is something that actually Wolfie's pretty interested in too. So I've talked with her about it, but really interesting. You're gonna do so well at it, though. I know you will. I just think even having the knowledge here for your channel and stuff is so cool.
I mean, I want to keep the channel. It's not like I don't. I want to actually be able to put more into the channel, but because I'll have more time. Right now, I have 5 classes to be able to graduate in December. So it's just time-wise, it's really hard.
Yeah, then your kids and regular life, taking care of your house and all that. I can't imagine.
Yeah, it's definitely overwhelming. But I mean, I want to keep the channel. I love just hanging out with everybody and just talking true crime and whatever, and just whatever cases there are.
I mean, she definitely can't make that executive decision by herself. So, so the channel stays.
Well, it makes your
But I
channel more
like this.
special because now, like, you know how people like to go to like Duty Ron because he knows he's educated. They want to go to McDonough because he knows, you know, the law, the procedure, those kind of things. So now it just adds more. It just makes it more special. I think it's awesome.
She brings a whole different type of perspective
Absolutely.
between just her whole logical brain to begin with, her family history, you know, between her father and her family all being involved in law enforcement. She has a natural just act for it anyway. And then it's just the way her brain works. And when you back it up with all this education now that she has, I mean,
Yes.
when it comes to this true
Oh,
crime,
gosh, I'm gonna have to spend like an hour popping her big old head after this live now.
You're the one who brought this up. I
I'll
didn't bring
put
this
it in
up.
there and do it. Don't you worry. You already know.
Hey.
All
No,
the
here's
time.
the ironic
I am
part,
the
and
white girl.
before we move on to more of this stuff, the ironic part of actually getting educated is that you actually almost feel less educated after a certain amount of time. And I wish that colleges would actually take that into consideration, because there's these main core classes that are phenomenal with information, and that, like, depending on obviously which direction you want to go, but like I had a criminological theories class, was very good. Like right now I'm taking an investigations class, and then there's obviously just like the regular like constitutional law classes and whatnot. But they make you take so many classes that don't necessarily, it almost hinders you, because you start to forget some of the stuff that was so important in some of the other classes, to
Yeah.
remember the stuff that is not something like, so another class I have right now is criminal justice statistics. It's literally just math. It's statistics, just they use like word problems that have to do with criminal justice. But the numbers, it's literally the statistics class I already took for my math requirement.
Oh my God.
You see what I'm saying? So like, why do I need to do that again? That doesn't, now it's pushing out information that's actually useful. And I don't think colleges, I think that's why trade schools are becoming so popular.
I agree. I think trade schools are like, I told my daughter, like, you know, like the education part is the fun part of your career. Like when you get to a career you love, you want to keep expanding your knowledge, and that's supposed to be the fun part. I think it's so dumb that if you go back to school, you have to take like history and evolution and stuff. Like, we're grown-ups. Like, we got this stuff already. If I need to look it up, I can.
But you only have to do that for like the basic part of the education. That's like your, you know, just your general education stuff. But I mean, just even in like the last like year of all my classes, it's all criminal justice classes, but they're all required, and it's all just.
So you think you could pare it down even further just to like go in specifically
Yes,
for like forensic
absolutely.
genealogy? You wouldn't do all this other stuff? Do you think
Well,
it gives you like a more rounded, like, or are you just going to forget everything and just go to forensic genealogy when you're able?
I don't. I think what I try to do is to keep the pertinent stuff that is important. Like like the classes that I felt like really offered something, like the criminological theory. It's basically, you know, a bunch of different researchers' ideas on why people commit crimes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that to me was extremely important, because what I look at, like when we're talking about this, is why do people commit crime? Like why would somebody want to do this? What's happened to this person that makes them do this? So that you can see that type of person before it actually happens. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but then
you guys, I'm about to go down.
She's gone.
Okay.
I got you, girl. Yeah, I hear you.
Sorry.
Be safe, Allie.
Okay. Bye, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Hi, babe. Kisses.
You got it. Bye, babe. Okay, so
I think that's really interesting too, though, that like we can like foresee problem areas and then invest resources to mitigate them, you know, ahead of time. I think that's a great idea, but I understand what you're saying. I think trade schools are great though. I only brought that up because, you know, I just wanted to point out that like you do have like a lot of insight and background. I just didn't think everybody knew it. So I wanted you to tell them.
Thanks.
But don't get
I minored in
too big head.
abnormal psychology for under. Yeah, so I got So I started out at a junior college, and I got my psychology, basically an associate's in psychology. It's an associate to transfer. I was going to do a minor in it. I didn't. I decided to do the minor in forensic studies. So yeah, this is true. But I was just irritated that I had to take statistics twice. I didn't like it the first time. I really don't like it the second time. The knife guy in September turned himself in. Yeah. Okay, so we have the presser, but they are saying it's not a non-critical. But I wanted to look at the floor plan with you guys, and then I still wanted to talk about the food truck video because I think there's some interesting things in there. And then, did you guys all see the picture that is supposedly of Jack D with the dog yesterday?
No.
I didn't see it, but if you want me to, I will. There's another thing from the live last week that I wanted to clear up that I was talking about. You could see in the windows when they were taking photos, and I should bring these up, but when you could see in the windows when they were taking or somebody was taking photos of like the forensic team inside the house, and you could see the good vibe sign that's in Kaylee's room, which is, this would be Kaylee's room up here. So you could somebody was out here and you could see in there and you could see them taking the photos of her room, which is how you could see that she hasn't packed and all of her stuff's still there. But there's a good vibe sign here. That good vibe sign typically pops up on a lot of her TikToks and Instagram pictures. So it's why I immediately assumed that was her room. But what I did figure out is that there's actually another good vibe sign. There's two of them. And the other one is in the living room. And so there is also photos of the press conference is in about 30 minutes. There's also photos of the investigators taking pictures around this good vibe sign in the family room, which I thought was quite interesting because that's not that they're not going to take photos of everything, because obviously they will, but I'm just saying they were taking a lot of photos around this good vibe sign in the family room, living room area. But if all the victims were supposedly found in bed, I was kind of surprised. And you can see in one of the videos, the technician is actually swabbing something. You can see her swab it and you can see her put it in the vial.
The video of her dancing with the dog is the one where I realized that upstairs room was hers, because you could see that she is the one with the balcony.
Right. Well, then people before were saying like, well, how do you know that, she's just not somebody in somebody else's room?
Oh. Because I wouldn't let that dog in my room.
Well, and that was the other part about like people saying that the dog might have been sleeping with the roommates. So another thing was, if you pay attention to like the little funny TikTok that they do where they're all like impersonating each other.
Yeah.
Dylan is
Xana doesn't like the dog.
Dylan didn't like the dog.
Oh, Dylan. Okay, sorry. Yes.
Talked about how the dog smelled.
Oh, so the dog wouldn't be in her room. That makes sense. Yes.
So the dog wouldn't be in her room. Well, here's another interesting thing. So going through some of Dylan's social media accounts, she actually has a couple articles of clothing that she typically is wearing, like a hat and a scarf kind of thing. And in there, she's got these in a few different photos, but there's one photo where it's that hat scarf thing is hanging on a wall. And that wall is actually bedroom number, it's on the second floor. I want to say it's bedroom number 3. So like her stuff used to be on the second floor.
Does anybody know how long her and Maddie lived in that house?
Like, I don't know how long any of them lived in the house.
I was told 3 years.
3 what? 3 months?
3 years. 3 years.
Years. Oh my gosh.
That's not confirmed. That's just what I read. But
we're definitely going to have to hash out my theory later.
I want to hear this one.
Okay, let me see.
Well, I don't think, wait, hold on. Back it up, because if they're in college and they're young, they're like 20, 21. So they're like at the most in their third year or second year. Maybe their third year just started.
Maddie and Kaylee are seniors. And
they're seniors.
Yeah, they're seniors. And Kaylee was graduating a semester early.
Because so they were
Um,
in a sorority, right? So if they were in a sorority, but
all of
like
them were in a sorority or a fraternity.
so
All
you
of them.
can't. So
But they're
usually
not in
like
the same one. That's a misconception that's out there. Maddie and Kaylee are not in the same sorority.
they're not Maddie and Kaylee because they're like best friends from
Yeah, they're
home.
not in the same sorority.
Oh, that I'm surprised to hear that. I didn't know that.
I was too.
Interesting.
But that everybody in the house was in a sorority, and Ethan was in a fraternity.
But usually, like when you go away to college, like you have to live at the college freshman year, and then you can go to like off-campus housing or sorority house after that. But that's why I asked how long they lived in the house. But that would make sense, 3 years, because they would have came there after. So
Okay.
that's interesting.
Well, Xana's a junior, so I don't know when she moved in. Here, I'm gonna put this back in here again.
That is a long time for college kids, but I guess it's good that they stayed in the same house. But it makes sense that she moved from one room to another, though, as they got like her being a senior in that balcony room makes sense.
Maybe
me.
one moved out and they moved in, and that's just how that goes.
They
Maybe
get the better room, yeah.
you know, I know I would. If it was my turn and the next one just moved out, or hey, I like this room because it's closer to here, I'll go here. Especially girls, we do this all the time. We share stuff, we sleep in each other's things. Like that's why I just have a hard time nailing down like or saying concrete where everybody is, because it's just they could have been anywhere.
Let me see. When I cut and paste this on YouTube, it's short, and look at it. Okay, did you email it to me?
Oh, thank you, Mel Mac and Delana. I'm working on it. Working on saying that Delana name right. I know I'm gonna have a hard time letting my daughter live on campus. Oh, my son.
Wait, it's Delana or say it right.
I say Delana, but I believe
I always said
Delana.
I say Delana.
Delana. I'm trying.
Okay, hold on. What was I pulling up? Kaylee came out here and got me all discombobulated. I don't even know what I was pulling at. Looking Madison, taking your hand and making it again, pointing it at the hoodie guy. Oh, okay. So you want me to look at? Do you have a timestamp for it? Because I have that up and ready to play anyway. Because there was a few things on it that I wanted to go over. If you have a timestamp, I can just, or you want it, you know where it's at. Do they have sorority houses? I live in town with a small college, and we have frat houses and some sororities, but no, they have big sorority houses. They do. They have big fraternity and sorority houses, and their apartment or house or whatever you want to call it is like it's literally set behind it. Yeah. So like the fraternity row.
Because you can see the picture with the Greek letters, right?
Yeah, you can see.
And it's in the same vicinity. It's not like the same house, but it's in the vicinity with those.
They're all right there. Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up.
Sometimes different colleges too, like depending upon how it is. If those particular buildings get overflowed, then they also have, outside of just off-site campus housing that they recommend for students, they also have, like they're just like random properties that are bought by the college to be able to place these kids who should have been able to go in the actual like university on-site campus buildings.
I don't think you don't have to live in the sorority house.
No, you don't. No, you don't have to do anything. You don't even have to live on. You can attend college and be home. Like you could live home. But sometimes, like as far as getting on the list, living there, and if that building exceeds the amount of people, then the college will put them in other owned properties, from the college and put them there. But then you also have the kids that are not living like technically in the university campus, so they live in these off-site houses.
And I think that the cops even said about how that the houses have or I forget how they worded it, but there's like the house mom, but whatever, like the house managers, and that they would be available for people for an emergency. All they needed to do was call. They'd be like on call extra. I think they like had addressed that, like those off-campus houses.
It's like a sorority mom and sister, and then they have like dorm moms and
they have like a house manager that manages the house.
Hold that house down. I get so scared of things like that. It's just so scary. But then it's like, how do you tell your children not to have the experience? I'm just like, I don't know. It's like, but I wanted this. I need to know it's a good experience. It's like, it has to be a fact. Live in a scary world.
Okay, so sideways, but that's okay. These are sorority houses, fraternity houses.
Okay.
Phi Kappa Alpha, Alpha Kappa Lambda. I never say any of their names correctly. So the houses are right along here, and then they're over here. That's a better deal. This way. So yeah, they're not. It's not far, but they have big houses. So why I have this up? So it was not yesterday, the day before yesterday. Law enforcement actually expanded their search. Did you guys see that? On my own here.
I saw them blocking off like a whole entire like intersection. like a part of like the big street.
Well, I was thinking it was here that they were blocking off.
It was like an intersection.
But this is
like
that
they had
Wolenta
the cop
street.
cars.
This is like Wolenta, and then this is like Wolenta.
Like I felt like I saw like.
So this is what I was showing you last night. It was these.
This four cross over here to the top right, like this 4-way crossing street. Is it like? I feel like that picture where they had the tape wrapped around like the cop cars. It was like an intersection, like with the lights, and the like over there, that way.
Over.
Top right.
You think it was up here?
Yeah,
like up here.
Top right. I can't see her. Yeah, right there, like that area, that 4-way right there, maybe.
Right here.
I don't know. Yeah, I can't see her mouse. But yes.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. You can't see my mouse?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I see it now.
See, I saw.
I'm gonna go find the picture.
They were okay. When the guys were like walking and like look at what I would think would be like additional like exit strategies or like how they thought maybe the perp like left, they were like up here in this area, and they were walking down in here and then walking back up here. They kept walking, then they walked like over here, like they were talking, like you could tell they were like talking about like how the person would have gotten out of there. Like, did they come up this way? And then after they did that, they blocked all this off. This wasn't blocked off before.
I wonder if they found anything in that area right there. I wonder if I can get the addresses from Trista's email and see where they ping on where this is. Just curious.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know. Okay, so let me see. Let me pull this one down. Did Brian email me yet? Let me see.
See, there's so many. Oh yeah, footage is going to be key here. Especially if this was any like college owned anything of any type of housing anywhere. I would love to think that they have some type of security something for these kids anyway, and hopefully those cameras picked up something too. So he wouldn't have.
Hi, Roz. Alejandro says, "Do you think that he accidentally cut himself?" I do, but I think that they're gonna have a couple issues. Is that there's a lot of a lot of blood, which we all believe there is. There's a lot to have to go through to find his blood, and then you're gonna also have the fact that they're gonna run it in the system. This person probably has no. If it is just another college kid, the person probably they're not going to be in the system. So they're going to have to be able to figure out, how are they going to get people to hand them over DNA? Do they have a specific suspect that they're going to wait to be able to find that person's DNA? So, okay, so Tammy, this was actually very interesting to me too. Why isn't there any blood leaving the house? Like you would think that you would be able to see. I mean, obviously there probably is because they are taking evidence pictures outside, but why you think that you would be able to see like something on that patio? Well, targeted, and somebody had said this earlier too. I think targeted is kind of such a broad term because I could be targeted by a stranger, right? I could be targeted by a friend. I could be it's.
I feel like
I could be targeted by the neighbor who's just been staring in my window.
Hey, Joan. It's so good to see you too.
I wonder, like, if they mean like out of the roommates, those 4 were targeted.
I feel like one of them has more wounds, or 2 of them have more wounds than the others. But I think it's going to be tough too because if Xana did fight back, then are they going to perceive that she was targeted, or are they just going to perceive that those were defensive wounds? You know what I mean?
Definitely targeted.
Wouldn't you think that the people that were fighting back were not the original?
Could be.
Because, that they would be fighting back because they had like time or awareness or something, I would think that like the very first, they would go for who,
Or let's just say one just so happened to be going to the restroom, getting a drink of water for whatever reason, whatever room they were in, whatever. Killer was actually going to one room, but ran into this person, and that person had gotten it first. And
yeah, I just think that like if I was gonna go somewhere and like do something crazy like that, like I would get it over with the person I specifically targeted.
Right. Unless though someone catches you, as you're on your way there, someone cuts you off, whether they heard someone come in or not, or
Wouldn't you abort mission if somebody caught you off ahead of time?
I would think, but this person clearly was not in their nowhere near right state of mind, and they went there with a clear intention to kill at minimum. Like
I don't know about that
because like what happened.
That would like stop me in my I would be like, okay, we'll try a different time. Like I don't want all these extra.
I don't know. You think of the knife, you think of the clear enragement in this person, and so I think a targeted attack on Kaylee, I in my opinion.
We probably have it all wrong because we're obviously not murderers.
We're
not murderers.
Well, I think that we can only talk about the people that we know versus the people that we don't know. And obviously, if we'll use Delphi as an example. Nobody talked about Richard Allen. Nobody knew about Richard Allen, so nobody theorized about Richard Allen. You see what I'm saying? Like, so yes, we talk about the people that we know, their names and who they are. I am not sold on the fact that something didn't happen at this fraternity party and somebody got pissed off and came back. My only issue with that is, why go upstairs then? If you'd already gotten the people that you wanted, why go upstairs? Unless they went upstairs first.
I don't agree. Sorry.
You don't agree.
I don't, because I think that if Ethan and Xana fought back, that they had some awareness and they weren't first. Like, I think that I just think it would be like abort mission if you like, or I wouldn't, that would be what was happening after the original target was done, like I just wouldn't, I think that if Ethan and Xana fought back, that lends more to my belief that they weren't.
We don't know if Ethan did. We know, we're hearing that Xana did.
Yeah, but excuse me, is that something that her dad is saying because he knows his daughter, or is that something that we know confirmed by law enforcement that she had defensive wounds and she had these
The coroner
bruises.
did come out and say that some did have defensive wounds. She did agree.
Okay,
So
okay.
at first it was just the dad, and then she came out and said that yes. Hold on, I want to pull up these two. I have the press conference ready for when it starts, so you guys don't have to freak out. It's already pulled up and ready to go.
I'm curious where their main chill spot was. I know they all had their own rooms and things like that. I'm curious to know where they all ended up always congregating at. Was it directly in that kitchen? Was it like, did they have like a living space because of the way the house was designed?
Right.
That living room that is like in that picture, I think is right next to the sliding door and the kitchen that we see. And I say that because of the curtains. You can see the curtains like when they're doing their pretending to be each other. You can see those curtains are the same curtains that are hanging in front of that sliding door, which is right there. You can see them taking the picture of the kitchen area. Or it's just the kitchen area. So I think that the living room, that was right there. And there were steps up and there were steps down.
Let me pull these up so you guys can see what I'm looking at.
Wonder if anybody happened to crash there. Like maybe just they slowly started to, they came together, had their little, because they came from different places and parties and whatnot, came together, had their little nightly convo, maybe slowly chilled and slowly started to drift off. Maybe one ended up going to their bedroom, maybe, and maybe Ethan and Xana stayed in the living room and ended up passing out there.
I think
The
they started
weird thing was them
upstairs and
taking
wanted
those
to leave through the
pictures.
slider. Sorry.
Say that again.
No, you're fine. I'm like them taking the pictures in the family room was very interesting to me. Like that, and the swabs. So what was in the family room that they were taking swabs of?
Maybe possible drinks. Was the killer in the house with them already that night? And maybe because they did say that they had like 4 to 5 people in that house at any given time, but there's 6 people that live in that house, right? At any given time.
Mm-hmm. 5.
Five. That's right.
Have you guys heard about this rumor that there was a 6th roommate who moved out? No. I don't know. That's all been speculation.
Yes,
I haven't found any proof of that. So if you guys have, let me know.
Oh yeah. Hey,
I'm not ready to talk about it yet.
I know you're not. Okay.
Her style is not, she's
yeah, press conference in 10 minutes. Yeah, I got it ready.
Hey, Lisa.
They said it's a non-critical press conference, though, so you guys have to understand it's probably going to be a lot of, this is how many tips we've now gotten. This is,
it's going to be like one of the Kylie press conferences.
Yeah, unless they can get a reporter can get in a good question, I don't feel like we're going to get a lot. Okay. So here's your first floor. The quote unquote basement, or however you want it, whatever you want to refer to it as. And then, so here you'd walk in from outside right here. That's that white door that has the keypad on it and has the wreath on it that everybody sees. So you'd walk in right there. And then you got bedroom 1 and bedroom 2 that is supposedly the 2 surviving roommates' bedrooms. And my only issue with that now is that I found those little clothing items hanging up in bedroom upstairs. So this is what CriminaliTy put together. I thought she did a really good job. Took the pictures from Zillow and matched them up with the floor plan.
That helped me a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so then here's second floor. This is technically the main floor. Okay. And where Kaylee's dad thinks that the person came in. They think they came in through the sliding glass door. So right here would be where that liquid is on the wall outside. It's going to be right here in this area because you could see it from the sliding door, right? So this was my issue. If Ethan and Xana were in bedroom number 4 and the person comes in from the sliding door, okay, right? So they come in from the sliding door. Their targets are Maddie and Kaylee. They just go upstairs and there's Maddie and Kaylee, right? But if they came in from the sliding door and they run into people from bedroom number 3, because look, it's right here, that would make more sense that Ethan and Xana would become collateral damage.
Wait, time out. So the way that I see the house in my head is this living room in bedroom 4 is flipped.
No. This is how it is. This is how it is.
I thought the living room, you could, the kitchen and the living room are right next to each other. Oh my gosh, stop.
I
No,
hope-
this is, I would say for scale purposes, this is a little bit bigger than what you'd see. You can see through here. So this is somebody from I think Reddit or YouTube made this, so you can actually see a better visual between here and here. But I think it's just because of the diagram of how big their stairs are. But I mean, it's pretty much to scale. But no, the bedroom 4 is over here. This is the 4th bedroom. This would be where the liquid was coming from. Regardless of what the liquid is, it's coming from right here.
Can you show me the Zillow pictures again?
This
Of
is why
area-
my
of this area?
Zillow for this one is right here.
Okay. Okay, let me see here.
So you see that there's your stairs to go downstairs.
Okay, and that's the big area right there. Okay.
Right.
And that's the kitchen, and that you can see that through the window. Okay, I see.
So you go right back here. This is now bedroom 4 is back there in the hallway, which is what didn't make sense to me. Why would you go over there at all if you are looking for Maddie and Kaylee, right? Why would you even go to that bedroom?
Well, how do we? Okay, so you were saying about how she possibly switched rooms.
I don't know, but it's weird because this bedroom right here, oh man, and I probably did not save those pictures because I just saw them and kept going. In this bedroom right here, bedroom number 3, there is this closet is like right next to the door. You see that? And there's a photo of her standing in this doorway. You can see the closet, and on this wall right here it's hanging. It's got her hat, her bandanas. It's got her stuff that's in her pictures typically. But it's this bedroom. It's not down here because you see how the doors don't open to the closet. You see what I'm saying? Because you can see the closet and you can see her standing in the door. These rooms don't open that way. So even regardless if she's in bedroom 1 or 2, now all of her stuff was hanging in bedroom 3 before. Unless she randomly hung it on her roommate's wall and then took a picture. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
So all of her stuff was hanging here. But I don't know. Okay, so then you have upstairs. Oh, hold on. You have
When is the press
upstairs.
conference? Are you keeping an eye on it?
Yeah, I got it. It's right here. This would be Kaylee and Maddie's rooms. And this is definitely Maddie's room because there's pictures from the news crews and the drone footage that you can see in her room, and you can see her pink cowboy boots that are in her videos. You can see a giant M, like one of those like white M's, you know what I mean? That's just like for like your initial you just put in your room. You can see all that in this room. So this 5 is definitely Maddie's room, which would clearly make 6, which is what I thought to begin with, would be Kaylee's room.
Yeah. I think you're right about the bedroom situation. I'm like, well, they like with intent, either that's not blood or they with intent went to that room.
Right.
Which kind of confuses me.
Or were they just pissed off at everybody in the whole damn house? Hey, Britt's back. Hi, Britt.
Hey,
I'm so sorry.
That's okay, babe.
I miss everything. Okay.
We're just kind of chit-chatting right now. We're talking just about the layout and where people would have come in. Now, here's my other thought, though, is if they did come in, if the killer comes in through the front door, like the white door, if the killer comes in through the white door and just goes straight upstairs, then bedroom number 4 would be on the path. Because they come in the front door, come up the stairs, and then here. But the pictures they were taking, so this wall right here is the other wall that has the good vibe sign. It's right here. And this window is where you can see investigators taking pictures and swabbing stuff right here in this area.
Oh my God.
No, Brian, I don't have a Cash App. You're fine. Don't worry about it. Just
well, I mean,
out.
they're probably taking,
Right.
I mean, we can assume that there's dripping and cast off and I mean along their exit route the whole way through till their exit route.
Have we ruled out actually what Tommy brought up, the empty room?
Well, no, this is what this one room was empty. I know this is my issue. So was it bedroom number 3 that's empty or bedroom number 4 that's empty? People are very convinced that bedroom number 4 is where Ethan and Xana were because of the liquid coming out of the wall. But if Kaylee and Maddie are the target, it doesn't make sense for the killer to go to bedroom 4. That's all I'm saying. So I would say if that is not blood on the wall, I believe that Xana and Ethan would have been in bedroom 3 because it would make sense if they come through the sliding door to get upstairs, you have to pass this bedroom. That's not good, right? Then there's witnesses.
Oh,
Yeah, because
just real
if they
quick.
go into
Oh,
bedroom 4, then there's.
I was gonna say, like, regarding the blood on the wall, where people are speculating if it's like some type of growth
Press
from the
conference is
outside.
starting.
I know. I'm coming into it right now. I got
If
you.
you
You guys keep
look at
talking. I got it.
if you look at the house, because I was looking at drone footage last night, I would be in agreement that that could possibly be growth of some kind if it was somewhere else. But if you look all around that house, nothing like that's anywhere else.
Yeah, my father feels just personally and he's just looking according to that floor plan, and he sees it coming from the kitchen and it being just rust, even though I am very
Sorry, I
confused.
forgot the most important part of my job. I just want to let you guys know
Mm-hmm.
that there will be a question and answer time. We're going to try and extend it today to be a little bit longer, so that way more people have the opportunity to ask questions. We have
I can't
John
hear
not
good.
another
Catherine
low
on the
one.
microphone.
I know.
And, he does not
This is
know
as high as this
what
one is.
organization you're
You want to
from.
find it on a news
So
station,
we'll,
this is their
keep it purely
website.
random. So please keep questions to 1 or 2, and we'll try and get to as many people as possible. So thank you.
You want to try to find it somewhere else.
Remember last time you had to enhance the audio after?
Yeah, all press conferences are just crap right now.
Oh, I know. I can play it on my phone at the same time and hold my phone up to the speaker.
Well, yeah, it's going to end up
You're
being
the
off.
bomb.com.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, let's see how loud he talks.
Good afternoon.
Can we hear
My name
him?
is Chief James Fry with the Moscow
it's
Police
good.
Department. Joining me today is Captain Roger Lanier with the Moscow Police Department, Moscow Deputy City Supervisor Tyler Palmer, Colonel Kedrick Wills of the Idaho State Police, University of Idaho President Scott Green, University of Idaho Dean of Students Blaine Eccles, and Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson.
Christine, are you playing it?
No, I turned it off. It didn't. It wasn't.
Oh,
synced
okay.
up.
Well, I muted this one because I didn't want it talking twice. So.
Information is too small, and every tip will be pursued. So far, this information has helped investigators build a picture of the areas of interest and the relationships these 4 had with each other and our community. We still believe there's more information to be gathered, which will continue creating a window through which we view this case. We all want to understand why this happened and what drove someone to do this. The families of those involved and our entire community deserve to know. We ask anyone with any information related to what happened with these 4 who are in our community, their interaction with others, and whether they expressed concern or commented about someone or something strange to get that information to us. Even if you don't believe it is relevant, investigators will review and determine if and how your information builds the picture. Sometimes what a video or picture doesn't show is equally as important as what might be there. Information on how to submit tips and updates on the investigation can be found on the Moscow Police Department webpage. We continue moving forward to understand why this occurred in our community and seek answers to bring justice for the victims and their loved ones because they deserve it. I personally want you to know we care and we will continue to work hard to get these answers for these individuals. At this time, I'd like to introduce Captain Roger Lanier for an update on what we can currently share about this investigation.
Good afternoon. I'm Captain Roger Lanier with the Moscow Police Department. I want to assure you first off that the loss of Xana, Kaylee, Madison, and Ethan remains the highest priority for the Moscow Police Department. We will continue putting all of our resources into investigating and solving these murders. Investigators are prepared to work through the Thanksgiving holiday to continue their efforts. I also want to express our sincere appreciation to the Idaho State Police, the FBI, University of Idaho, and the Latah County Sheriff's Office for their assistance. And I especially want to thank the community of Moscow for their outpouring of support through this incredibly difficult time. Today, I'm going to recap and brief what we know. I'm going to provide some new information, and I'm going to address some rumors. On the evening of November 12th and into the early morning hours of November 13th, Kaylee and Madison arrived home at approximately 1:45 a.m. after visiting a local bar and a street food vendor. Ethan and Xana were also out in the community at Sigma Chi, and they arrived home at approximately 1:45 a.m. Two surviving roommates who were also out in the community arrived home at approximately 1 a.m. Later, on the morning of November 13th at 11:58 a.m., a 911 call was placed. The call reported an unconscious person. The call originated from inside the residence, and a surviving roommate's cell phone was used. During that call, the dispatcher spoke to multiple people who were on scene. Moscow police officers responded and found two victims, two on the second floor and two on the third floor of 1122 King Road. The results of autopsies indicated that the four were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds, and there was no sign of sexual assault. We do not believe the following individuals were involved: the two surviving roommates, the male seen in a grub truck video circulating on the internet, a private party who drove Kaylee and Madison home, any of the individuals who spoke to the dispatcher on the 911 call. We're also aware of a male whom Madison and Kaylee had called several times the morning of November 13th, and we do not suspect that individual. Detectives have canvassed the neighborhoods looking for evidence, physical evidence, video surveillance, and they've contacted numerous residents to see if anybody may have seen or heard anything. They continue requesting tips that can be sent to our tip line or called into our tip line. The specific areas that we're interested in are detailed on maps on our city website and our Facebook page, but as stated earlier, generally south of Taylor Avenue to Palouse River Drive and the area west of US 95 over to the Arboretum. We have heard mention that Kaylee stated she may have had a stalker. Detectives have been looking into that, and to this point have been unable to corroborate the statement, although we continue to seek information and tips regarding that report. No suspects have been named or arrested, and we continue looking for what we believe to be a fixed blade knife used in the murders. We have not released the names of any of the subjects who spoke on the 911 call, and we have not released the call itself. Any online reports of the victims being tied and gagged are not accurate. Regarding the resources that we've put forth in this investigation, the Moscow Police Department has 4 detectives, 24 patrol officers, and 5 support staff dedicated to this investigation. The FBI has 22 investigators in Moscow and 20 additional agents assigned in various locations, as well as 2 members of the Behavioral Analysis Unit. The Idaho State Police has 20 investigators, a public information team, a forensic services and crime scene team, and 15 uniformed troopers who have been valuable in helping provide community patrols and safety patrols. We very much appreciate their support. This is our highest priority. It will remain our highest priority. We owe that to the families. At this time, I would like to introduce Colonel Kedrick Wills from the Idaho State Police.
Thank you, Captain, and thank you for those that are in attendance today for your attendance. We really appreciate this. What has affected Moscow and the community here has affected all of us as Idahoans. We have a way in Idaho that the communities come together in tough times, and this is one of those tough times. Leads from the community are important, and as the captain spoke, no tip is too small, and we would urge anybody that has any information whatsoever to please provide that to help us solve this case. The lead agency of this case is Moscow Police Department with Chief Fry and his dedicated team of professionals, and the Idaho State Police's role is to support them and their good work here. There is an awful lot of efforts going on behind the scenes, and I'll explain why it's behind the scenes in just a moment. But what can't be seen isn't always known of what we do in law enforcement, and I'd like to explain that in just a moment. But the Idaho State Police and the FBI continue to provide resources to this investigation. I would like to speak for just a moment, if I could, not about this specific case, but rather an overview of how cases are investigated, so that maybe it'll give some sense of the why of the timeline here. We understand you want answers. We want answers too. But these take time, and if I could explain just a minute about the process here of what we go through just generally in investigations. So we use in advanced investigative techniques and crime scene processing. So what happens when a call comes in, the original officers, the first officers that respond to a scene, and then once that they've got their work there and determined that they need some additional investigative assistance, then they call investigators to come and help process that scene. And oftentimes it requires a forensics team to help process that scene. And when I say process the scene, what we're looking for is we're looking for any evidence that may help us to be able to find the people or person responsible for what we're seeing. And so we're collecting biological evidence, we're collecting latent evidence, whether it's shoe prints or tire marks or anything like that. We're trying to collect that evidence. We're trying to correct, we do that through photographs, we do that through 3D mapping to be able to map the scene. We identify and we mark evidence, and then we collect that evidence. And then we look for any evidence that we think may be helpful. And once that is done, then we package all that evidence up and we send it off to forensics laboratories to be analyzed to see if it can help provide clues of what's happening. All of this takes an immense amount of time. The reason this is important to understand is because it's important that while this is such a tragic circumstance that we find ourselves in law enforcement, we believe we owe this to the surviving families to get this right. And so we're not willing to sacrifice speed for quality. We do testing for blood, we do latent print processing, any documentations for anything at the scene so that we can reconstruct that scene at a later date. If I could share just a few statistics of this particular crime scene. At this crime scene, we collected 103 pieces of individual evidence. We took approximately 4,000 photographs. We've conducted multiple 3D scans of the residents, and we have hundreds of hours used by technicians and investigators, including our forensics team and detectives from multiple agencies. We've processed over 1,000 total tips and conducted 150 interviews. I hope that you understand that gives a little bit of a perception of just how complex this case is. We have the utmost confidence in this investigation and that this investigation will be done right. We ask you and we ask the public to please remain patient as this investigation unfolds. And please rely on official sources of information. We really appreciate the media's assistance. We know you have a job to do. We know that you're professionals and you do it to the best of your ability. And we're thankful that you're here, because without you, we could not get the correct information to the community that could help us solve this. So I can't overemphasize how much I appreciate and we appreciate in law enforcement your willingness to do this. What you are doing matters. And it matters in what we are committed to doing, and that is to the best way we can think of to honor these victims and their families is to conduct this investigation correctly. Finally, I'd like to share that I've been in regular contact with Idaho's Governor Brad Little throughout this investigation. Governor Little is making available up to $1 million for expenses related to this ongoing investigation. As you heard, the resources that are here in Moscow and throughout with this investigation, you can see that those expenses would add up quickly. Like all Idahoans, Governor Little is deeply saddened by the loss of these 4 bright and promising young lives. And he's making sure the state of Idaho provides all of the resources possible to ensure that the person or persons responsible for this are brought to justice. And now I'd like to turn the time over to the University of Idaho President Scott Green.
Good afternoon. I'm Scott Green, President of the University of Idaho. We deeply appreciate the kind words of support we have been receiving from our alumni and friends, as well as many others who may not know us but have taken time to reach out. People are donating to the victims' GoFundMe pages and the Bruce Pittman Fund for Students in Need, and they're buying personal devices for our students and continuing to look for other ways that they can help. This is what it means to be a vandal. In the last 24 hours, we have sent updated communications to our students, employees, parents, and alumni. And in those communications, we discuss campus security, services available to our students and employees, our plans for both remote and live instruction to close the semester, and our plans for a candlelight vigil on November 30. All of this is available on our website. We all want swift justice and continue to work with law enforcement to aid them in any way helpful to their investigation. As the investigation continues, we will better know how to proceed in the new year. We will endeavor to find the balance among safety concerns, the need to grieve, and the long-term needs of all of our students and employees. Through everything we do, we will keep Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan, as well as their families and friends, in our thoughts and our prayers. Thank you. I'm sorry, I need to introduce Deputy City Supervisor Tyler Palmer. Tyler, sorry.
Good afternoon. My name is Tyler Palmer. I'm Deputy City Supervisor with the City of Moscow, and I'm here today on behalf of Mayor Arthur Betke, the Moscow City Council, and Moscow City Administration. The loss of Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan has sent an overwhelming, palpable wave of grief, confusion, sorrow, and anger through our peaceful community. Mayor Betke, with the support of our City Council, has instructed staff to marshal all necessary resources for our law enforcement professionals as they diligently work to assure the safety of every member of this community and find the person or people responsible for this. The outpouring of support, kindness, and genuine empathy locally and even globally has been a humbling reminder that those who want to help far outnumber those who want to hurt. And we take some solace in that. To all of you who've reached out, sent letters and cards, provided food for those working around the clock on this investigation, and offered other resources, we thank you sincerely. These continued acts of charity and humanity remind us why we live in this tight-knit, caring community. The City of Moscow is committed to seeing this investigation through to a successful end and will continue to dedicate whatever resources are necessary for that effort. We are thankful for the immense support from the University of Idaho, Leitah County, Governor Little and his office, the Idaho State Police, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Moscow is my home. And I know we won't be defined by tragedy, but how we respond to it. We mourn the loss of these beautiful young people, and we will relentlessly pursue justice on their behalf. Thank you.
So we would like to open it up to any questions, but I would like to ask if there's an Argonaut reporter here. that would like to ask. And then second after that, an evergreen reporter, if there's one in the room. So let's start with the Argonaut, please.
James Torman Aldrich with the Argonaut. I have two questions, if that's all right. Firstly, being what the police presence is going to look like after Thanksgiving break and how long that's going to last.
So I'll go ahead and answer. The police presence is going to be very heavy after the break. We have Idaho State Patrol that will also still be in the area, and you'll see a high impact of patrol officers and troopers, as well as Latah County Sheriff's Department personnel in the area.
And then secondly, will there be any possibility of the release of the 911 phone call, even in transcript form?
Not at this time. That's part of our investigation.
Frankie Beer, the Daily Evergreen. I guess the Moscow PD press release mentioned looking into hundreds of pieces of information about Kaylee's potential stalker. I was wondering what led you to believe she did have a stalker possibly, and why those pieces of information haven't come up with conclusive results.
I'm actually going to let Captain Lanier answer this question, okay?
Thank you, Chief. We obtained information through some of our interviews that Kaylee had made some comments about a stalker, so that's where that came from. We have followed up looking at specific time frames in specific areas of town. So far, we have not been able to corroborate it, but we're not done looking into that piece of information.
Dan Springer, Fox News. If I can get Captain Lanier. Sir, why not tell the public who the target was? You've said that this was a targeted attack. Why not tell the public who was targeted? If it was multiple people, it would go a long ways to telling the public what you're looking for and who you're looking for, the type of person you're looking for. Why not do that to alleviate some of the fears out there in the community?
Well, first and foremost, we have the integrity of the investigation to preserve. And we feel like that information is integral to us and how we conduct our investigation. Releasing that to the public may or may not flood us with a lot of information that's not relevant or specific to what we're looking at. So we do want more information, but we don't want to put our investigation in jeopardy by releasing what we have. There's always a balance between what you're willing to release versus what you're trying to gather. We told the public very clearly from the beginning that we're looking for a knife. We've told the public very clearly from the beginning that we believe it was a targeted attack. I mean, to be honest, you're going to have to trust us on that at this point, because we're not going to release why we think that.
Lauren Patterson, Northwest Public Broadcasting. I see that the FBI set up a special web page just to collect digital information. I'm also curious if any of the investigators can speak to this. Curious if the Wi-Fi hotspot has been tapped at all. It's possible if the suspect had their phone on them, it may have pinged off the Wi-Fi in the residence. Has that been checked on at all?
As I stated, our investigation is looking at every avenue of every piece of evidence that we can. The FBI has given us a website for any downloads of video or anything. So we ask people, if you have any of that, to send it to us, please.
Thank you. Natasha Chen, CNN. I have a couple of questions here. One, in many homicide cases, the first hours, the first days are so incredibly crucial. Now that we're moving into a window that's further and further away from the incident, does that concern you about the ability to arrest a suspect, or do you have information that you simply can't share with us that makes you confident that you're close to solving this?
I'm going to have the Colonel step up and address that, please.
Well, thank you for the question, and I would like to address it a little more globally than specifically. A little more globally here, Yes, as time goes on, I mean, we're time past the initial calls for service and the initial crime. However, we also, as time goes on, are able to process the forensics evidence, any forensics evidence that we may have collected, and so that helps us. And we're also able to process the tips that continue to come in, which may help us. And so, while time in one respect is not beneficial, in another respect it is, because it helps provide us with that whole picture of with all of the information that we're gathering, whether it's evidence or tips or any other information that we're gathering, it may help us to provide a clearer picture. And so it may help answer those questions that we're seeking as well.
Hi, Angela Palermo, Idaho Statesman. I was wondering if there's any evidence that suggests the attacker visited the first floor where the two surviving roommates were.
That information will not be released at this time. It's part of our investigation. And as we stated earlier, there's many things that are involved in investigation that we will release and things we won't.
Good afternoon, Ashley Soriano, Fox News. I have two questions. Have you considered the possibility of a murder-suicide? Is that something that you guys are considering right now?
That question has been asked previously, not at a press conference. It's certainly something that we looked at in the early part of the investigation. It is not something that we're looking at this time.
And I know some of the investigators' vehicles and police vehicles are coming in and out of the driveway. Do you think that potentially could disturb any tire marks or other evidence?
Yeah, so the question has been asked about why did the crime scene tape expand, and that's not uncommon. When the first officers arrived, they tried to cordon off what they thought was important. We immediately expanded that when the investigators got there to process the scene. And logically, as this progresses, and you've seen this through our press releases, we have expanded it to several areas of the city and have in fact canvassed entire neighborhoods. So we try very, very hard to uncover every single bit of evidence possible in an area before we move on to the next area. So yes, we've looked at everything that we think we need to look at in and around the crime scene at this point. Well, it's a gravel parking area, so it would be hard to say that.
How are you folks holding up? How are your detectives and officers holding up? And Chief, you mentioned that detectives are prepared to work tomorrow on Thanksgiving. So is the expectation that they will be?
That is correct. We're going to have many detectives and agents working all the way through this incident. Our people are dedicated. Our people care about this community. Our people want to ensure the community that we're here to bring safety and we're here to get a resolve on this. So we will continue to push through. We'll give people time off as they need it, and we will continue to take care of them. But we're gonna push on this until we come to a conclusion.
Chris Mitchell, KLEW. Is there any plans to increase security for the Apple Cup on Friday?
I can't speak to what's going on in the state of Washington. I can only speak to what we're doing here on the campus of the University of Idaho in concert with President Green and his team. We are absolutely, with the Idaho State Police and the Moscow Police Department, we are 100% dedicated to making sure that this continues to be a safe place for students to do what students need to do. And so that's why we have so many uniformed troopers here that aren't necessarily assisting with the investigation, but rather here to help with the campus security. And President Green and his team have been fantastic in helping to strike that balance to make sure that we have law enforcement resources here. So while I can't speak what's going on anywhere else, I can tell you at the University of Idaho, we have a lot of state troopers, and a severe increase of state troopers and Moscow police officers here, both on campus as well as throughout the community.
John Gabell, ABC News. Are investigators looking at any possible connection to an unsolved double stabbing in the Salem, Oregon area about a year and a half ago? Specifically, two people stabbed in their home in the middle of the night, long knife, no suspect at this point. One died, one survived.
I think we're looking at every avenue, and we have other agencies reaching out to us with other cases and stuff that we are doing follow up on. We will continue to follow up on those.
Are you aware of that case?
Actually, I had a tip come in on that case, and I forwarded it to our tip line.
Okay. One more question. Can you confirm the bodies have been released to the families or are being so released today?
I believe they have been released to the family, and I know that I believe one of them has already had a funeral.
Destiny Martin with the LCSC Pathfinder. Can you lend any insights into the possibility that the murder weapon is linked to the ROTC program? And also, you mentioned that the analysis unit is here. Will we be able to hear anything from them about a working profile they possibly have? And on that note, have you guys ruled out the possibility that the killer might be a female?
So we look at every avenue. We're looking at every group of people. Like I said early in our first press conference, we're not going to let any stone go unturned. I believe can you just clarify your second portion of that question? Oh, the BAU, sorry.
Yes, I would like to know if the BAU has a working profile because, you know, you look at victimology. Sure. Are you able to tell us who was killed first on the time of death so that we may understand, like, who was, if it was a targeted attack, it would make the most sense if they killed one of the roommates first and then maybe the other two, you know, I know sure. This is not speculation, I'm getting off topic. My question is are you guys looking at a working profile? Have they come up with anything new regarding the motive or intentions of the killer or killers?
The BAU unit is working diligently to do what they do. Will that be provided? I'm sure that may be provided once the conclusion of this case comes together. But they are continually taking in information, reading reports, and gathering information for that.
Good afternoon, Chief. Amanda Rowley with Crim2. Seeing some speculation with some of the cars being searched this past week. Wonder if you can squash some of the rumors and that speculation. Is there anything you can share specifically on the white car out front? And then I have a follow-up for the university.
So I'll have Captain Lanier go ahead and come up with that.
Thank you.
Well, we have looked at a lot of different vehicles. I'm assuming you're referring to the vehicles that were in the parking lot at the time. Yeah, so some of those vehicles belonged to the victims and some belonged to other people in the house. And so for us, that's part of the crime scene. As I mentioned earlier, the crime scene was expanded out through the parking lot. So we wanted to make sure that we looked at those prior to releasing the crime scene. It was part of the initial investigation that night.
Thank you. And for the university, is there any additional information at this time that you can offer about the candlelight vigil, maybe what we can expect from that? And then any other information you can provide about that ask of the community to light the night on November 30th?
Thank you for that. I'm going to turn this over to Blaine Eccles at this point. He's actually planning the whole event. So
good afternoon. I'm Blaine Eccles, Dean of Students. The vigil is going to be hosted next Wednesday, November 30th at 5 p.m. We have it scheduled for the administration lawn at the moment. We're going to make a final determination on location early next week, just because we're waiting for the weather window to get closer, so we feel comfortable that that's where it will be located. We're anticipating a large turnout of community members as well as university members, students, faculty, and staff at that particular event. And all of the families have been invited to join us if they so wish from that aspect of it. The response has just been absolutely beautiful and overwhelming to the love that has been provided to the institution as well as the family members. The Light the Night event that you're talking about, while I don't have a lot of details on that, is set to coincide at the same time, just so that people that can't be here in person as part of the vigil are going to be able to participate remotely as well. The vigil will be live streamed, and it's safe to say that the Vandal family is going to unite and come together to support the families in the darkest moments of their life, quite frankly.
So I'm going to go ahead and take two more questions, okay?
Jordan Smith, KXLY. At this point in time, do investigators know which entrance the suspect used to enter the residence? If this was someone who might have known the door code at the front or maybe used the back door?
Once again, that's part of our investigation. We're not going to release that information this time. Thank you.
No, Baltimore News 8. You said this was a targeted event. You won't tell us why they were targeted. What should students do to prevent being targeted in the future?
Well, that's a great question, especially in light of what just happened. If you would have asked us 9 days ago, we would have had probably a different answer. Moscow's always been a very safe community. In light of this, and maybe we should always look at it this way, vigilance, always traveling in pairs, knowing where you're going, telling someone when you arrive, and just that kind of general awareness. Maybe we should, as a community, have always been doing that. You know, in some ways, this took our innocence. I would tell students that you need to stay with a friend. I know that the university staff is looking at different options to increase some of the safety on campus and providing certain options to students. So, yeah, going forward, there's a lot of things that maybe we wish we would have done before, but we need to start doing now.
So I'm going to go ahead and close, but what we do want to let our community know that we do care. We do want to provide a safe environment. We will continue to work hard and we'll continue to do everything we can. We want people to be vigilant. We want people to report anything suspicious to us and let us get there and handle it. But we are here to provide that safety. So I want to thank you today for coming, and I appreciate your questions.
All right. So start with Britt. Britt, what do you think of this?
Can I just clarify really quickly? That there's a difference between being cleared and what he said about Jack D.
Not being a suspect, or we do not suspect him at this time?
Right. That can change next week. I've said this on my channel too, because a lot of people are conflating the two. And I'm not just saying that because of my theory. That's with anybody. There's a lot of people that are saying, you know, certain ones are cleared, when being cleared versus not suspected is a little different. It's when you're cleared, that means that, you know, you've been completely, you got an alibi. They know for a solid that you're not a part of it. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like we didn't really get a whole too much there. I was listening to when they asked what you should do not to be targeted, and I listened real closely to those answers to see if he would describe something that maybe one of the girls could have potentially done, you know, like what not to do. But they did, from all accounts, they traveled in pairs. They stayed together all the time.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yes, travel in pairs isn't going to really work when the guy killed 4 of them.
Yeah.
In a house with 6.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're not wrong. All right,
What do y'all
Christine.
think?
Christine, I know that you have you thought the questions were really good.
Yeah, I do. I think that this agency is doing a great job, like telling us what they can, and that there are definitely things that they do have to hold close to the vest, like the ones they are, like whether or not they went through the front door, the back door, or they think they had access to codes. I think that those are the kinds of things we should expect them to not tell us, and we can't get mad about it. And
Why do you think they wouldn't tell us which door they think they went through? Why would that be? Why would that be important to the investigation?
Well, because I think if they went through the bottom floor door at all, then they had walked right past those 2 rooms. I don't know. I
Yep.
just think that what door did they go in? If they used the code, had they been in there before? You know,
Mhm.
So do you think they
where
would
they
keep that
started,
close?
where they ended.
You think they would keep that close because only the killer's gonna know what door they went in? So like if there was a confession, that person could tell, like I went through this door. I mean, they got a 50-50 chance of getting it right,
Yeah, I
whether
think
they're telling the truth or lying. So that's why I'm curious about that one, because somebody could say, "Yeah, I went through the front door." Okay, so I don't know. So that one just seems kind of weird to me.
Well, what about the 911 call?
That one's even weirder. So
Right?
I was trying to pay attention to all the things they wouldn't release. They won't release what door they went through. They won't release the identity of the person who called 911. They won't release who was which roommate's phone was used. They won't release who the friends were the roommates called.
Well,
Why
we
would
did
any of that information matter to the investigation? Because if they are trying to keep things close to the vest so that the killer comes in, confesses, what does any of that have to do with it?
Right. What if you did kind of answer something in a roundabout way there, though? I was wondering if one friend came or multiple, and judging by what he said, it sounds like a couple of friends were there.
Yeah. That's exactly what it sounds like. So what if those people are not of interest, what is that why does that need to be quiet for the investigation?
Good question. Maybe there's relevance. Maybe they do suspect someone and the roommates and the friends know the person. Like not necessarily they're involved, but there's a reason they won't let us hear that call.
Right,
They
why?
have to say something.
Because they're trying to solve the crime. I don't know. I guess I don't expect for them to tell us everything, and it doesn't really.
I don't expect for them to tell us everything either. I would actually. There's certain things the order of how they were killed.
I think that it matters as a totality that these are the things they won't answer. What does that tell us? I definitely think that is something we can make reasonable conjectures about,
I'm still stumped on the certain aspects would have nothing to do with the investigation unless something is said on that 911 call.
Well, exactly. So why don't you just assume that that is the case?
Because they called an unconscious person. So
yeah, that
what would they be calling and saying there's an unconscious person for? If there's so much blood and the scene is a mess, how does the roommates not call 911? So even if my roommate is unconscious, I think that they have alcohol poisoning or I think they have a drug overdose. The roommates bother me no matter what, and I know people they're the survivors, whatever. When it bothers me, why'd you call your friends and not 911? So that's an issue for me right off the bat. 2, now you got your friends that come over, and the friends call from your cell phone, not even their own, and they say that they think there's an unconscious person. Okay, so what on that phone call could be important to an investigation? My friend D or B called me and said, "Hey, one of the roommates on the second floor is is unconscious. So, we came over." And now they also say that multiple people talk to them. Multiple people talk to them on this 911 call. So that means there's either roommates, the friends that are there, there's a whole group of them that are talking to them. What the hell are they talking about? Because the call is still just for an unconscious person. And I get people in chat are saying because they don't want people harassed. That's not what they said, though. They did not say that. They said they're keeping the information.
Or are you just making the conclusion from their non-answer?
What do you mean? Say that again?
So from what you're saying makes total sense, and I agree. Like, I think that that's exactly what we could take from it. Like, are you saying that they should be releasing the phone call, or are you saying this is what we can gather from them not releasing the phone call?
Both.
I don't think they should release, because I think exactly that you're right, that it probably lends to the fact that there is something in that phone call that they.
But there shouldn't be if those people are not involved, and if they
But
only
so the
called in
fact
an
that they're not
unconscious person.
releasing it means that there is something
Right.
there.
So how are they? That contradicts what they're putting out there. They're saying that all the people that were in the house during the 911 call, they are not suspect at this time, basically. And they're not, once again, the whole clearing, it's literally, the title of it is like not suspect. My problem is there's no reason to not release the phone call or the identity of the people who made the phone call unless there's something that's pertinent to the investigation. Now, if that's the case, what would those people have or know that was said on this 911 call that would be pertinent to the investigation if all they know is there's an unconscious person on the second floor?
Right. So I can feel that
So why not
we can
release it?
take from that there is something there. Like, I don't understand how that negates what they have. Like, there might be a whole like line of something that happened on that call that we don't know at all.
No, because then there would have been a different outcome to what the people were calling about 911. Because they called 911, when police arrive, they find. The police find.
Right. I don't
And
know.
what
I'm not trying to argue with you. I agree with
Well,
you.
I know you're not arguing. No, I'm
I
just
just
saying,
think
like, that's
that I
how
think
my
that
brain
that's
is
the
working. It
reason
doesn't
why
make
that
sense.
they're not. That's why they're not releasing it, because there's something there that is a need to know only right now. And I mean, I think that the fact that they're not releasing it tells us as much as if they did.
Well, I've seen a lot of people say that they speculate that the doors were locked and no one actually laid eyes on the victims. They just couldn't get them to come to the door. Well, then how would they know that the person passed out? They said they believed that the person passed out and they're unconscious. So either
The door's just locked and shut, then how do they even know the roommate's even there?
Yeah, I think
There's
that we
not
can
there.
assume that they weren't able to approach the person.
And why wouldn't you go get your other roommates to help you figure out what's going on with this roommate?
that's my question. Why would you not run upstairs and try to find Maddie or one of the other ones?
So everybody's door's locked, but they still only call in one unconscious person? Just saying, it doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. Now, is that because the cops are making it that way, or because there is something? I don't know. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense. The line of thinking doesn't make sense. There's nothing that would be in that phone call that would affect the investigation.
Unless there's something, what?
Because if they called in an unconscious person, it's a pretty 911, what's your emergency? It's, I can't, my roommate's door's locked. I know they're home, their car's here, and I think there's something wrong because I can't get in the room. So I called my friend to see if they can help me get in the room. So now here's friend and I we can't get in the room. What is happening on that phone call that matters?
I think I agree with Nicole. She thinks they named the person they think that did it.
But how would they know anything? There's just an unconscious person. Did what?
Right. So there's something we don't know about the call for sure.
It's so confusing.
Well, then why not say that? Why isn't there something? Why aren't they saying that? Killer locked the doors. It's obvious. Okay, so that's my next thing. So you go and now you're looking at all of your roommates and all their doors are locked, and you went to get the other roommates because you can't find this roommate who you think might be passed out and unconscious. Now all the doors are locked, so I call my friends. They come over. We call 911. Why do I say I think my roommate on the second floor is unconscious? Like, still doesn't make any sense.
I've always thought it was Ethan. I know mainstream media. Trust me, I'm one of the ones that preaches about listening to it. But there was I think it was with Fox. the article come out that Ethan was on the floor, on the second floor. Is it possible he was in the living room, passed out, and they seen him from the bottom of the staircase? Because
they didn't go up and just like say, "Hey, Ethan, what the hell are you doing? Passed out on the top of the staircase. We can't get by. What are you drunk? Like, get out of here." You know what
I can't get over the lack of blood. There's nothing said about blood at all. And it clearly says that they believe the victim passed out and is just unconscious. I mean, how did they come to that conclusion?
Mm-hmm.
It's so. I've even thought maybe, do you think that the police are misleading the public on purpose? Where maybe like the killer would be the only one to know what really happened, and maybe they're waiting on somebody to slip up in some way.
I don't think they're misleading us on purpose, but I do think that like the locks or what door they came in and out them, I think that that's something that probably only the killers would know. I don't think they're misleading us. I don't get that vibe.
I don't think they're misleading us either. I would be more concerned that they have their information wrong, but I mean, I think that's a different. I don't know. There's just something off about it. And like I said, I get that people are like, it's to keep the safety of the callers but they could law enforcement could easily say that to be truthful. Like, hey, we're not releasing their identities right now because we don't have a suspect and we don't want anything, any unnecessary information out. As part of our investigation, like that makes it like those people are pertinent to what they're doing. And it doesn't make sense that they are. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I don't want to I don't want to stand up forever, but I'm just saying it just doesn't make sense. Those two things don't go together. So, but I do want to, Brian had sent me the link that he wanted us to look at. But there was a couple things, and this is, one's from Reddit, and obviously I can't verify who this person is. So, but they said that they interviewed like 100 of us the first day, including Jack D. They checked all of our arms for signs of physical altercation because Xana fought back. Jack isn't gonna murder multiple people, and then just go back to the house and be totally fine and not have anything on him or wrong. So I can't verify who says that, but they're saying like they basically were there with Jack when Jack was checked. Take that for what you want. And then there was another one that I thought was interesting. This was from a Facebook group, and the lady's saying that her son, so she said that Ethan texted her son at 2 a.m. and was still at the Sigma Chi party based on what the text said. So if at 2 a.m. he was still at Sigma Chi, that wouldn't put him at the house at 1:45. So we also have a little bit of an issue with that timeline, just like we do with Kaylee and Maddie's.
Well, I think these cops are smart enough to have checked where their phones were at that time. So like there must be a reason they think their phones were at the house, or like.
Well, we know their Kaylee and Maddie timeline's wrong. There's no way it's right. They were not at the house at 1:45. We have them on camera at 1:45. They're at the food truck. We could see them.
Yeah.
So they're there for 10 minutes. They get there at I think it was like 1:32, and then they're there for 10 minutes
back at the house
least.
at like 1:53 or something.
Yeah, they should have been back. I think they would have got to the house at like 1:56, 1:56, 1:58.
Yeah.
So I mean, we know that timeline's a little off anyway, but I think it's curious because it does change, what information was happening at the house at the time. You know what I mean? Like who was there, when, and how.
Kaylee doesn't look that happy to me at the food truck video. And then she gets these messages and stuff. Like maybe she's just paying attention to her phone, whatever. But I don't know. She just looks like she's much more serious. And
I noticed that too.
Okay.
And
I'm
sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Keep going. I'm just going to pull this up. So I'm just doing that while you keep talking.
Just because I know I think I probably Teresa's heard me say this, but I don't know about you, Christine and Michelle. When Kaylee holds the phone up at the food truck, it almost to me looks like she's trying to take a picture of something behind her.
Yes, I noticed that. Totally
Yeah, you
noticed that.
too? Okay.
Yeah, like she's like it looks like she's taking a selfie, but it's like she's capturing what's in the background.
Yes, yes. And then you hear her mom state that Kaylee was a sleuth and she was very aware of her surroundings. And that's all I could think about. And at one point, maybe even a little more, it looks like she's trying to get Maddie's attention to look at her phone. And have you ever been in a situation where you want to tell your friend something, but you can't say it out loud, so you type it on your phone and you show it to them?
Yeah.
I kind of wondered if she did that. I don't know. I've watched that
Possible.
that video.
I think that's a good thought.
Or like, is the menu or something like what's on? Somebody take a picture and show us that grub truck. So
Right.
like what's
A lot
show
of
us what it looks like.
tacos, and she ordered something like something carbonara.
Like maybe the menu's up there, or there's like something that she wanted to take a picture of up high. Otherwise, she's taking a picture of what's behind her.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I have a question about that. Did you guys see? First, let me back it up. Did you guys hear about food being delivered to the house, like Domino's Pizza? Have you guys heard that?
No.
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to dig some more on that then. Supposedly, somebody at the house had ordered food and it was delivered to the house. And I don't. Okay, so everybody's saying no. So I'm wondering if that's just some rumor that went out and I happened to run into it.
Okay, and this may be minor and stupid, but I just want to put it out there. I've said this 100 times too. The jacket that Maddie's wearing is like 5 times too big for her.
I think that's
what if someone gave her that coat at the bar and it was their excuse to go back to the house that night? Like they used it as a reason to return, to do what they did. Or it could just be her boyfriend. I don't know.
Pizza boxes, Domino's from Venmo. So that's what I had heard, that somebody had ordered Domino's to the house. The jacket, I heard the jacket was one of the Jacks or Jakes. Well, it's all speculation, though. I don't know for sure.
Earlier, someone asked if the Jack flipped the girls off. I don't think so. I think he just waved. Like, yeah, he did, but I didn't see him flip them off.
I mean, they have the girls' phones. They must, and are able to like go through those pictures and messages. Yeah. I mean, they haven't said anything about it, but that's like assumed, right?
From who?
No, I don't know. Like, have they said anything about having their phones? And like,
well, I would assume they had their phones. I know that Kaylee's family in their interview state that they went through all like the back end, like all because the phone is still hooked up to Kaylee's mom's account. So they went through the phone on that end. That's how she knew about the calls to Jack and to begin with. And then they heard about the calls from Maddie's phone as well. But she got all that information by going through the phone records herself.
I have a question about that, just real quick, and I'll shut up. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
So in the interview with Kaylee's sister, when one of the first ones where she talks about Kaylee's timeline. Okay, Kaylee's been with Jack for years. Why was her sister so thrown off and trying to track down who Jack was? Shouldn't she have known who that was instantly?
See, it's weird that you say that because I've watched a couple different creators on this case, and some they feel like when Kaylee's sister had brought it up first, that she acted like she didn't know who Jack was. To me, she seemed like she said it like she was absolutely familiar with Jack, which made me realize that it had to be Jack the X and not Jack S. That because they were both kind of out at that time, and now there's another Jack. But the way she said it to me, I took it like, yeah, that was Jack the X. Like, yeah, she's calling Jack. Not like she was calling some guy named Jack. You know? She said it, in my opinion, said it like she knew exactly who it was. But I've heard both. So it's weird how people perceive the exact same conversation completely differently.
Yeah, because if I
Teresa and Michelle, can you guys go look at the chat?
Yeah, go ahead, Brittany. Say what you need to say.
if my memory serves me correctly, I thought she actually said that. Like, I tracked, okay, so I've got the video from the food truck. I tracked down the Uber driver or the way that they got home or whatever. Now I need to find out who this Jack individual is that my sister was calling multiple times. Does anybody in chat remember hearing that, or am I crazy?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Brittany. I've totally missed it. I'm sorry. Can you say it one more time? I paid
Oh,
attention.
no, you're fine. I just thought maybe it's a Mandela effect, but I could have swore in that first interview, she said she went through everything she's found out thus far about her sister's timeline. And then she says, my sister called a guy or a Jack over and over again in the middle of the night. And now I need to,
I don't think she says a Jack. I think she says she called Jack.
or she called,
Like
yeah. And then she needed to
Why
find out
would
who this was.
why would Maddie also call Jack if Kaylee was calling Jack? Didn't they say that they both called him? But was it different Jacks, or is that misconstrued? Or
She called. They both called Jack. She calls Jack like 6 times. Then Maddie calls Jack a few times, and then Kaylee calls Jack again.
but why? Like my friends wouldn't call my ex-boyfriend, no matter what. Like, why would Maddie also call Jack?
Because I think that Jack wouldn't answer for Kaylee. He's mad at Kaylee because Kaylee broke up with him. He doesn't want to talk to her.
So you think maybe it was her calling from Maddie's phone? My friends would never
Or
call.
Maddie calling, like, oh, he'll talk to me. I mean, they've been best friends their whole lives. So, I mean,
Yeah.
Maddie knows Jack really, really well.
To me, that wasn't too bizarre. I've done that before, actually. Like, called a guy for a friend.
Well, hell yeah. Especially when you're drunk. You're like, he'll answer for me. You know? Or Kaylee used her phone to see if he would answer. Or they were probably like laying in the bed together on speakerphone. I mean, I don't, it doesn't seem weird to me. CDT had to run errands and would like to know if there was anything new in the presser that we really thought was imperative. They basically said that Jack D is not a suspect at this time. Anything else really come out of the presser? Like, good?
Well, y'all, I'm just one of those really crazy girlfriends, so that wouldn't happen to me, okay?
What do you mean?
They're all saying that their friends would call their boyfriend or ex-boyfriend. I'm just one of those really possessive types.
No, but like if you're with your friend, I mean, it's not like she's calling him on her own. They're together. They're in the same
She's
place.
probably being a hoe.
No, she's not. She's got her own man.
I feel you on that, Christine. I feel you. Christine, you don't let very many girls have your man's number.
I'm just not one of those real friendly with my man type things.
No.
Okay, so hold on. I want to play this that Brian sent. So, CDT, that's really all I took from the presser. There was a couple good questions, but they didn't seem to want to answer. So, I mean, if you want to go and watch like what they didn't answer, that's also kind of interesting. They wouldn't answer stuff about the 911 call. They wouldn't answer stuff about which door the person went in. They wouldn't answer who they think was targeted. What else did they not want to answer? Okay, hold on. I'm going to pull this up. Okay, so this is what Brian sent, and he says is very curious. Is there any sound to this or no? I don't think there's any sound to it. No. So. And Maddie like puts up like right there. Is that what you mean? Oh, right there. Like she's like putting like her fingers in like a gun shape, like.
She was so dry all out.
To me, it kind of looked like they gave each other an air high five or something at first.
To me, it looked like she was pointing at the ground. I don't think there's
Yeah,
supposed to be any sound because there's no sound on it. So
it looks like a point to me, like pointing at him.
yeah, let's watch it again. Where'd Brian go?
See, Kaylee is on that phone constant, which is not uncommon, I know, but
Right. She's on that phone, but I'm also wondering if she's trying to get a different ride.
They look kind of aggravated. She looks aggravated there.
I think this guy's bugging him. I think that
Yeah, like look at her face, looks irritated right there.
yeah,
Like she's
because
not laughing.
if it's somebody that you want around you, you would, interact with them.
It's just funny.
She does kind of look like she's, frustrated. Watch how her shoulders go up.
I think she's just pointing at him. Oh, that one.
She's not like laughing. She's not...
like the thumb. Like I could see where you're seeing that, Brian, but I don't know. It's
She
like
looks
she's
irritated,
got
right,
like
on
a
that
weird
turn.
point. But Kaylee like literally wants nothing to do with the guy. I don't think she even looks at him like ever.
Yeah. It looks like she's like mad, like what are you talking about? Like what do you have to say? Or like, like just like I can feel that like what the you shut up,
Right. I gotta get Jeremy dressed, then we gotta go. Yeah, I gotta get off of here. I didn't realize how late
Real
it was.
quick, I need to run this by y'all while I have all three of you, just real quick. That they mentioned they have 23andMe to come out. Okay, if they had DNA and he was in that database, they wouldn't need 23andMe, right?
I need you
What
to
else?
get some clothes. Can you get some shorts and a t-shirt? Well, 23andMe is if they get the his DNA and then it doesn't match anybody.
Why the candle light on going?
It fell.
Can I say one thing?
Okay, what?
That's another reason I think he's young. And for them to say he's sloppy, they have to. Do y'all believe they have DNA from the suspect?
I think they will. If they don't already, I definitely think they will. I think they'll have something. But I mean, you got to think there's a lot of stuff to go through. You got not just DNA, you've got hair, you've got fibers, you've got fingerprints. I mean, they got a lot of forensic stuff that they have to go through there. I don't think it's going to be. It's not. You also have to remember this house is supposedly a big party house.
True.
So how many other people have been in and out of this house? I know. It's gonna take them a little while to do that. That's why I think they're counting on other tips. I think the suspect left DNA. Yeah, I think they definitely left something. If the dog was home and not in a cage, I can imagine that's gonna create quite a scene.
Yeah, and I was gonna say too. I kind of hope that they were locked in their rooms just for the sake of, the evidence not being contaminated. At least if he did lock them in the rooms, then that would be a little better than all of those people over there contaminating the crime scene.
So somebody on Reddit is saying that Xana was the target.
I've heard that too.
If Xana and Ethan are the target and they find them when they walk in and they get them on the second floor, why go to the third floor? Why not just leave?
Exactly.
But also, if Xana and Ethan are in bedroom number 4 and your target is Kaylee or Maddie, why not just go upstairs and why not just leave?
Well, at that point, I think, in my humble opinion, I believe that one of the girls were the targets. He went upstairs, did what he did, and on his way back out, he alerted Ethan. and that's why he did what he did to them. But that's just my thoughts.
Maybe the dog barked.
Could be. And it bothers me that there's no blinds on those windows. I mean,
Well, that means that other people standing up there from behind could definitely be watching. They could definitely have had somebody watching.
Yep.
We lost Michelle.
Oh.
She had to go early for Thanksgiving stuff.
But that's fine. I have to hop off anyway because I have to go take kids to dentists and orthodontists.
Bless you.
Are you going live, Britt? When are you going live?
Yeah, shameless plug. I'm going live in about 30 minutes at 5:45.
Perfect. Not shameless at all. So
Thank you for having me.
Of course. No, thank you for coming up. I don't know if I have any wrenches left in chat. Do I have anybody here that could drop Brittany's link for me?
Oh, it's okay.
No, it's not.
Everybody's.
I want to do it. I just don't know if I have anybody here to do it. So let me find it real quick. Hold on.
Oh, and somebody had asked for T's Cash App. I know she don't do that, but a good way that you could help out and go around your loophole, you can gift memberships. That's all.
Sorry, I jumped the gun. I was trying to get ready, and I just, got excited. Sorry. My
it's
bad.
Okay. I mean, I appreciate you guys just being here. I appreciate you guys watching and partaking in the conversation. I love hearing different opinions and seeing what people think of different things, and always you guys are always so respectful. I appreciate it.
All right,
I love you.
That's enough. All right, now let me go back over here and here. So there's Britt's channel. She's going to go live, and she said in about 30 minutes. So what, like 2:30 Pacific? So like 5:30-ish your time?
5:45. Yes.
Okay, perfect. I really wanted to go through this truck video like in detail, and we did not have a chance to do it today. I don't know when I will be able to do it. But go watch Britt's.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
And yes, everybody enjoy time with your loved ones. Be thankful for the ability to be able to spend it with your loved ones. Give everybody hugs. Go enjoy your weekend. If you're going out of town, please be safe. If you're cooking, please be safe.
Okay.
Okay. Britt, thank you so much for coming up. Allie, if you hear anything, if you're in chat still, thank you for coming up. Love you all. And we will see you most likely on Friday. If not, we'll see you sometime over the weekend or next week. All right. Good night, everybody. Or good day, everybody. Good day. Good day.
Okay, now.
Go.